It's the night when champions are crowned. Welcome to Dusseldorf for the IAAF World Indoor Tour Finals. Some of the world's best will battle it out for a $20,000 prize and a place at next year's World Indoor Championships in China. A warm welcome to the Arena Sport Park here in Dusseldorf, Western Germany, with the remaining 9 IAAF World Indoor title winners set to be heralded here at the PSD Bank meeting Dusseldorf. From the commentary box, this is Chris Temple, and I'm delighted to be joined once again here on the IAAF YouTube channel by the European gold and world silver medalist over 800 metres, Jenny Meadows. Jenny, it's been a fascinating tour so far, taken in 5 previous stops, and we're set for some classic, climaxes this evening.
Yeah, all the fields assembled here this evening are of the highest quality. I'm really looking forward to watching Samuel Tavera, obviously coming off the back of that world record over 1,500 metres on Saturday in Birmingham. Really excited also to watch the Chinese sprinter, Bingham Su, going over the 60 metres. He ran a world lead in Birmingham. And the female equivalent of the 60 metres promises so much as well. Undefeated Polish athlete Eva Zaboda taking on Mary Telu and Daphne Skippers.
Just seeing some of the athletes arriving and getting familiar with their surroundings here at Arena Sport Park Dusseldorf over the course of the last 24 hours and earlier on today as well. We are packed out with the best part of 1,500 people here inside the arena. And the athletes in good spirits as well, with high stakes up for grabs here in Western Germany this evening. So here are some of the names. Jenny's referred to a couple of them already. Pavel Maslak going for the 400 metres overall tour title. He's battling with the American Nathan Strother for that title. It's a shootout over 2 laps. The pole vault's fascinating. Angelika Sidorova against Katerina Stefanidi. They're level on points so far. A win for Sidorova this evening that claims her the title. There is the world record holder over 1,500 metres, Samuel Tafira. He's in the mix with Jakob Ingebrigtsen. A fascinating battle of 2 teenagers along with Bethel Bergen. And in the women's triple jump, the world champion indoors and out, Yulimar Rojas, needs just a top 4 finish to guarantee herself the IAAF World Indoor Tour title. That's what we've got coming up over the course of the next hour or so. The first page of the event's on the way, and we're kicking off very shortly with the women's pole vault, which does pit Sidorova against Stefanidi. As we move into the second page of 3, you can see the 60 metres women's final will feature the likes of Svoboda and Skippers and Tarlu as well. Men's 60 metre hurdles, Ortega, Jarrett Eaton, and then we conclude the evening with what should be a great women's 800 metres. That's all up for grabs as well on the tour title. And that men's 1,500 metres, 2 of the Ingebrigtsens, Tafira, Bergen, among others. So this is what's just concluded here in the arena. The women's shot put was the first event to get going. Anita Martin, the world champion from Hungary, finishing in 3rd place this evening with 18 metres 34. Fanny Rose of Sweden took 2nd place and 7 points on the tour with 18 metres and 47, her best efforts. But the title went to Germany's Christina Schwanitz, the home favourite, who just needed a top 4 finish, and she crowned one of the first places up for grabs. The wildcards in Nanjing and the IAAF World Indoor Title Championships with that put, which, even though she fouled in the last round, she was delighted, and certainly the home crowd were delighted to see a German winner. And there is confirmation of that full result. Sophie McKinnon of Great Britain, who's been in good form as well, just below her personal best by 3 centimetres there, but troubling the 18-metre line in 4th place. But Schwanitz confirmed as the overall IAAF World Indoor Champion with 27 points from Maggie Ewan and Jessica Ramsey. So there's a scene inside the arena. As we say, we are about to launch our next field event. And the pole vault has been a fascinating contest right throughout the tour. this is how it stands going into this evening's final event. Now, Katie Najata of the USA is not here, so Sidorova and Stefanidi currently in pole position. Alicia Newman of Canada, though, is here, so she could very much, if something went wrong for the two leaders, have an impact on that race. As we meet Yaroslav Silva, first of all, the 2015 world champion, who's only just kicked off her season in Birmingham on the 5th leg of the IAAF World Indoor Tour. Next is Irina Zhuk of Belarus, a recent winner of their national indoor title. There's Alicia Newman, the Commonwealth champion from Canada, just a couple of points off the lead at the moment. If she could win this evening, and we'll remind you how the points are allocated in just a moment's time as well, and she could just throw a cat among the pigeons. It's billed as Sidorova against Stefanidi. This is Nicoleta Kiriakopoulou, the European silver medalist from Berlin here in Germany last summer. Been in good form, she's equalled her personal best, 481 this season. There's the Olympic champion, the world champion, the European champion, Katerina Stefanidi, who's been battling a little bit of illness in the last few weeks, but she said at Birmingham at the weekend she's coming back to what she feels is somewhere near her best. And finally we meet Angelika Sidorova, the world indoor silver medalist from just under a year ago in Birmingham last week, and she has equalled her personal best this year of 4 meters and 91, so she's coming to this as probably the form athlete. So a reminder, it's 10 points for the winner of the individual events, the scoring events here on the tour. 7 points if you come second, 5 if you come third, and 3 for fourth. So certainly Newman with 18 points, and Sidorova and Stefanidi with 20 each, all in the shake-up for victory. If there is a tie, by the way, in any of our scoring events, if they're level on points, it's the best individual performance at one of the tour events. And at the moment, Sidorova, with her personal best jump of 4 meters and 91 at the Madrid meeting, she would take the title if, for example, Stefanidi or Sidorova didn't score any points this evening. But certainly this one, Jen, we haven't got Katie Najat here, but we've got certainly 3 of the other leading athletes in the world this year. It's good to see Yaroslav Silva as well, having a bit of extra competition as she gets her year going. Yeah, it's great to see her back. I think the women's pole vault is one of those events that's really taken off. We've seen Stefanidi's unbelievable consistency, but Sidorova, you know, she's done 480 at the weekend at the Russian Champs, coming off the back of the 491 in Madrid. So really it is just a contest between how consistent these girls can get, and really who can clear, you know, have first-time clearances at some of the bars as well. Yeah, we see Kiriakopoulou there on the left, who, as we mentioned, has equalled her lifetime best, which was set previously back in 2016. So, what, 3 years apart, but 481 to take third place in the Birmingham Grand Prix at the weekend. So we'll keep you in touch with the pole vault. The first time will be 4 meters 37. As we move to the track then, and our first event is the B race of the men's 1500 metres, a predominantly local field with 1 or 2 international athletes as well scattered around. So we kick off with the B race in the men's 15, and we conclude later on with what is very much the A race, not just in the 15 but probably of the whole evening. Here at the PSD Bank meeting in Dusseldorf. If you have just joined us, very welcome you are indeed, live on the IAAF YouTube channel. We work from the outside then. Right on the outside will be the pacemaker, Omar Jameh from Gambia, who actually set a national record on a lifetime best over 800 metres very recently. 23-year-old set his best at 3:54, so well below some of these athletes in terms of their 1500-metre credentials. Fastest in the field on paper is this man, Lucas Abeli, home athlete from Germany, with his lifetime best set this year of 3:44.28. Alongside him, World Junior Championship representative from the Tampere 2018 champs last summer, Mohammed, also of Germany. We move on to the second group towards the inside. Maximilian Feist on the left of shot there. He's also in good form. He set a 3:47.7 personal best this year. 3 times the national champion of Finland in the black and green, Jonas Rinne. Also a personal best this year, so most of these athletes are coming into this off the back of some good performances. Stefan Bachheinrich has set to 800 and 1500 personal bests this winter. Bob Bertemis of Luxembourg, the national champion over 1500 metres. And on the inside, a local athlete from the Dusseldorf Sud club, Maximilian Torwith. Local support here for Torwith. 7.5 laps of the track then, the men's 1500 B race is our first track action here in Dusseldorf this evening. So where we go, the athletes will run the first bend in lanes. We'll talk about the fact that it's only a 4-lane track here, as I'm sure you're just noticing if you haven't already here at the Arena Sport Park, which will be interesting later on, certainly, but in the very early stages, the pacemaker Jammer settling down at the front of affairs, tracked by Lucas Abeli and Mohamed behind them. Jen, how does the 4-lane track affect things?
It's very different, actually. Most of the indoor tracks are 6 lanes, so obviously you've got a little bit, wider bends. So actually looking at this track, it's very tight. We've got long straights and really tight curves on the bends. So you can see this race straight away. There's not much space and it's pretty strung out straight away. I think in some of the races later on, when we get a little bit people, with similar personal bests, it'll be very, very tight for space. But yeah, we can see this race here being really led out really well there by Omar Jamar. His request is to do around about 58 seconds for the first 400 metres, and looking at the clock, he seemed to be absolutely perfect, 58.13 seconds.
So Jamar, the Gambian, doing a good job at the head of affairs. I like the get-up of Lucas Abeli as well. The headband, certainly very eye-catching, and Mohamed tucked in behind him. Those two separated by a couple of seconds on personal best, and already a bit of a gap opening up to Torwith, a local athlete from the Dusseldorf Sud club, who's in 4th position. Then comes Bob Bertemis, the Luxembourg national champion, and then Yunus Rinne, the 3-time champion of Finland. But still the pacemaker Yema at the front of the field.
Yeah, it's great to see that the athletes are going with this pace as well. This is being paced to around about 3 minutes 40 finish position, and if they do come in around about that will be up there with a lot of these athletes' personal best. So really great to see that Abela's really took advantage of this.
Certainly has, and he's tracking him at the moment, and just starting to move a metre or two away from Mohamed, who's trying to hang on to the leading pair here, and a further gap of what now is that about 6, 7, 8, 9 metres back to Maximilian Torwith in 4th position. But the front two are away on the trail of the pacemaker as they go through 800 metres.
Yeah, 800 metres, it slowed a little bit there. They were hoping for about 1 minute 55. It was 1:59, so that's obviously taken us way in advance of 3:40 now. But two great young athletes here following the pace. 21-year-old Abel, 3rd in the German champs recently over 1,500 metres, followed by Mohamed, who was 4th in the German champs over the 3K.
Well, we're seeing pacemaking at one end of the scale here from Jammer, who's still pretty inexperienced, only 23 years of age, still a very decent 1,500-metre runner, up-and-coming 1,500-metre runner in his own right. As he steps aside, or he's about to step aside, I think Abeli just said, "Excuse me, could you please step aside?"
Yeah, he's done really well to take them this far, 1,000 metres, just 500 metres left now for Abel to really just grit his teeth and see what he can do. Really good to see a young athlete just take advantage in front of a home crowd here, and just really it's up to him now how fast he can run over these last 2 circuits. That
was certainly a very gentle ushering of the pacemaker aside, wasn't there, from Abeli? It was almost as if Jammer had forgotten that he needed to step off at that point, but certainly the little legal nudge. We'll see a bit of, as you say, I'm sure, dusting up a little bit later on these tight curves, particularly in the 800 metres as well. But it's Lucas Abeli coming around at the moment. He'll take the bell on this occasion. He seems to have this one won already. Relatively long straights here as well in the Arena Sport Park Light Athletic Halle. And Lucas Abeli on to the final 200 metres. His personal best is 3:44.28. He was a couple of seconds faster on paper than the rest of this field at the moment, who was strung out behind. It's Mohamed, the athlete who finished 6th in the German champs at the weekend in a lifetime best over 3,000 metres, so he's bouncing off this in good form over the long distance as well. But Lucas Abeli just gritting his teeth as he comes up towards the home straight. It's going to be just outside his personal best, I think, of 3:44.28 as he comes up towards the line now. Lucas Abeli takes it, 3:46.23, the winning time, ahead of Mohamed, and in the end, the 3 times national champion of Finland, Yunus Rinne, came through to take 3rd place.
Yeah, that was a great race to start off with, wasn't it? Just came in just a couple of seconds behind his personal best there. Mohamed finishing really, really strong as well. He won't be too far outside his personal best and his season's best, which was also set this year. So, yeah, what a great tone to start it with the men's 1,500 metres. And as you say, Chris, that should really be the climax to the evening, watching the A race towards the end of the meeting. Yeah, and we have probably the most well-known pacemaker, just behind Jenny Meadows probably these days. Who's currently, the pacemaking's just been put to bed for a moment, isn't it? But Bram Som, who only paced 2 world records at the weekend, is in the pacemaking chair this evening. Let's pick up the pole vault live, shall we? We'll confirm that 1,500 metres B race for you fully shortly. Yaroslav Silva, 2nd attempt coming up here at 4 metres and 37. So a modest height, and at the moment, Yaroslav Silva just struggling for a little bit of fluency there. So 2 times of failure at 4:37. Alicia Newman is the one athlete who came in at this height who cleared first time. Arina Zhuk about to take her 2nd attempt. But Yaroslav Silva, as we say,
very experienced campaigner, the 2015 world champion from Beijing, third in London in 2017 in the World Championships. Form indoors going back to 2014, of course, when she took the World Indoor title in Sopot as well. 450 she jumped at the weekend, Jim, but she's capable of 482, so for her, very much easing her way into her year, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. Birmingham was her first competition of the year indoors, and 450 was a decent start for her. So, yeah, she's already down to her third attempt now at 437, so it'd be nice to see her go clear at this next height.
The Belarusian champion, Irina Zhuk, her second attempt coming up here at 4 meters and 37. And this time it works out for her. Fresh off that performance again for her at Birmingham at the weekend. 4 meters 61 her clearance in there, which actually is only a centimetre short of her indoor personal best set last year of 462. So again, she's coming here with probably a hope of maybe nudging that a bit higher with some world-class opposition alongside her.
I think this is the time to do it, just before that European Indoor Championships, which takes place in a couple of weeks' time in Glasgow.
So Zhuk well clear of that. So Silva will come back for a third attempt at 4:37. Stefanidi, by the way, has passed through to 4 meters 62. Sidorova due to come into the competition at 4 meters and 57, and Kyria Kapulu at 4:47. So the three main athletes, if you like, all coming in at different heights. But Yaroslav Silva at the moment, the Cuban, has got it all on to make sure that this is not a wasted trip over to Germany. Third attempt at 4:37. Oh no. So that's a bit of a surprise for Yaroslav Silva. As we say, there's obviously still a little bit of rust in the system, and that is something to go away and work on for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes when you've not competed for such a long time, sometimes things in training could be going really well, but when you actually come and put everything in place in the competition environment, looking at all the external things as well, you know, especially she'll be so aware of what the other girls are doing. She's coming into this competition knowing that girls are clearing in excess of 480 bars. So it's interesting, you know, she did come in at 437. She's not opted for the higher height straight away like the other girls. So I think she's very aware of where she is at the moment.
So we're on track with the women's 60 metres. Now this is one of the titles that has already been won by Iva Svoboda. Those are the standings then, confirming that Svoboda has an unassailable lead with 30 points. She's unbeaten so far this year. She's at the top of the standings. Skippers is here, so is Talu. So if nothing else, along with personal performance, looking to upset the unbeaten record this year of Iva Svoboda. But this is line-up for Heat 1. First 2 in each heat, and the next 4 fastest will go through to the final, which takes place later on, 7:30 local time. On the inside, we meet the Spanish indoor bronze medalist from the recent championships, Cristina Lara, 6 times a national champion of Spain. 7:36, her lifetime best from lane 1. Lane 8, Naomi Sedny. He already finished 6th, actually, in the Dutch Championships at the weekend in 7:42. Lane 2, the Under-23 European Championship bronze medalist over 100 metres from 2017, Sina Meyer, getting the German support. As well in lane 7, Yasmin Quadro, a national champion, World Indoor Championship representative last year. Klara Seidlova is the national record holder of the Czech Republic, also now the Czech champion as well. For Great Britain, Imani Lansiko, who appeared on the Torren leg of the IAAF World Indoor Tour, where she clocked a 7:23 season's best. You can see on the caption there, just outside her personal best, European Championship relay gold medalist. And then as we move towards the centre, lane 4. World Championship silver medalist over 100 and 200 and over 60 at the World Indoors, Marie-Josée Talu, who's been very consistent this season. And Lisa Marie Quay, the new German champion from the weekend, at a lifetime best of 7:19, which she actually set in the heats of those German championships in Leipzig. So heat 1 of the women's 60 metres, a scoring event. First 2 plus the next 4 fastest reach the final. So away they go first time. Ta Lou got out very well indeed alongside her Kwai as well, but it's Ta Lou at this stage and also Lantico coming through. Ta Lou and Lantico from Kwai, the 1-2-3. 7.14 unofficially for Marie-José Ta Lou, and I said she'd been consistent so far, Jen, this year. Prior to today, she'd run 4 7.15s, a 7.16 and a 7.22, so that again is right in the ballpark again there for Marie-José Ta Lou, and it's amazingly consistent, even within hundredths of a second.
She is. It'd be interesting to see whether the clock gets rounded up or rounded down, but no, it's been confirmed. Season's best, 7.14 seconds. She was good from the gun. I was watching her actually at Birmingham, and she was great in the heats, but didn't quite get that same explosive start come the final. But if we watch her here, you know, she powers towards the line. It's only 60 metres, but she was pulling away right from the 10-metre mark, and she's bagged herself a place in that final later on, and let's see how she goes.
Yeah, she got a terrific start, didn't she? Kwai was actually quite slow away alongside her, which actually emphasised, I guess, how good a start Ta Lou got. Lantico came through strongly towards the end as well, as she looks to close out her indoor season. She's not going off to the European Indoor Championships, has opted not to take that target on this year, missed the British Championships. But Ta Lou, Lantico, the 2 automatic qualifiers, and it will have to be a wait and see for Kwai with her 7.32 to see if she will go through as one of the next fastest. So, pole vaults, Nicoletta Kiriakopoulos. It's been a first-time failure, by the way, for both Zook and Newman at 4.47 meters. This is Kiriakopoulos' first height of the competition at 4.47 meters. As I said, it is great to see an athlete coming back to form, isn't it? Having set that personal best back in 2016, to be matching that height again 3 years later. And again, I guess the level of competition that's around in the pole vault at the moment is really rallying other competitors.
Yeah, it is great to see her back. She's a familiar face from, like you say, a few seasons ago, but she's here now with her first attempt. Oh, and it was good, wasn't it? She just rattled the bar on the way down.
I guess having a compatriot, Katerina Stefanidi, as well, who finished 1 and 2 at the European Championships in Berlin, of course. I guess rallying each other on as much as the rest of the competition from the US at the moment. The likes of Najat and Sandy Morris is coming back from injury, of course, as well. Along with Alicia Newman, up and coming. Well, she was plenty of height there, didn't she? But just didn't get across the bar.
Yeah, she just caught it with a quad on the way back. So, yeah, she definitely had the height. She got the power. She's a real physical specimen, you know. She's very, very strong, very, very fast on the runway. But she's got 2 more attempts at this height.
Confirmation then of heat 1 of the women's 60 metres. Ta Lou, that's a season's best by 100th of a second. And Lansico, the 2 automatic qualifiers. And Kwai and Seidlova, we'll have to wait and see if those times are good enough. So the far end of the arena, the athletes getting ready for heat 2 of the women's 60 metres. Intimate arena here, as you can see at the Arena Sport Park here in Dusseldorf. 1,500 or so, around about, is the capacity. Tickets sold out a long time ago. As you can see, there's probably only about 10 or 12 rows of spectators. The track is very tight as well, as we see the start list for heat 2 of the women's 60. Interesting name at the bottom of that list there, as well as some of the stars in the middle. The likes of Skippers and Svoboda. I'll tell you more about the name at the bottom of that list in just a second, if you're not familiar with the Norwegian sprinter. On the inside, first of all, Johannes Herrera Abreu, the Italian champion. Lifetime best set this year, equaling her lifetime best actually of 7.32 from lane 1. Astrid Ingebrigtsen then, who is the wife of Philip Ingebrigtsen, the middle of the 3 Ingebrigtsen brothers, 2 of whom we'll be seeing later on. She is the Norwegian national silver medalist over 60 metres. Chantal Buchsack, enjoying her evening, pleased to be here by the look of it. Big smile on her face, the 21-year-old. Home support for the European Junior Relay gold medalist from 2017, Jennifer Montag. Also in lifetime best form this year, 7.36. Jamila Samuel, the European 200 metres bronze medalist, finished 2nd in the Dutch Championships at the weekend in Apeldoorn, behind the lady who's alongside her here, a certain Daphne Skippers. Before we get to her, Guy Evans, who is the defending World Indoor Tour champion. Remember, these events are scrolled around every 2 years, so events that weren't scoring last year are scoring this year. The last time this was staged was the title holder. Daphne Schippers, Dutch champion, 7.18 she ran, that season's best to win the Dutch title in Apeldoorn at the weekend, targeting the European indoors. And here is the Tour winner already, scintillating form, the 21-year-old joint world leader with that 7.08, which has recently been tied by Switzerland's Mujinga Kambunji. Eva Svoboda looking to maintain her unbeaten record this year. She's got Schippers on one side and Guyan Evans on the other. Heat 2 of the women's 60. Once again, the first two automatically reach the final. Away they go, Svoboda away well. Guyan Evans got a good start. We know Schippers come strong in the second half of the race. Now Svoboda starting to be challenged by Schippers, but it's Svoboda on the lean, 7.20, and pretty comfortable with Daphne Schippers closing on her outside. They've seen a lot of each other on this indoor tour so far, and once again, close on the line, but Svoboda seems to have that. Look, she looks like she's hardly even stepped off the blocks there.
Yeah, we saw her then, you know, almost a sigh of relief. You know, I'm glad that's over. Schippers got quite a good start for her, actually. She's obviously a great athlete over the 100 and the 200 and slightly favours the 200 metres. So, yeah, Schippers started really well, but Svoboda, that's her strongest part of the race, her start. And, yeah, she didn't stop particularly well for herself, but it was good enough. We actually saw the athlete there in lane 2, Chantal Boutet, just twitch a little bit. I was wondering whether they were going to call it back or not. But, yeah, Svoboda was just in cruise control there. And Daphne Schippers just dips the line just to secure that her second place finish and the qualification for that final later on this evening.
She's really into her running so quickly, isn't she, Svoboda? She gets those arms moving, and literally the first two strides, they're almost up to race pace, aren't they? You can see Daphne Schippers alongside her, just taking that little bit longer to get going. She's a bit taller. She's, as you say, a lot more powerful. So Schippers and Svoboda comfortably through 7.21 and 7.23 respectively. Let's pick up the pole vault then. Kyria Kapulu, second attempt, with Alicia Newman having gone clear and Irina Zuk having gone clear at 4.47. Can Kyria Kapulu join them in clearing 4.47? If you're late joining us, we've already lost the former world champion Yaroslav Silva with a no mark after 3 failures at 4.37. No problems this time for Kyria Kapulu, who is the third athlete clear at 4.47. The bar will go up to 4.57, which is where we'll see Angelika Sidorova, the authorised neutral athlete who has just recently won the Russian Championships, jointly in the lead of this IAAF World Indoor Tour.
Not only this event is real physical, but it's also to do with strategy. You know, when do you decide to come in? What bars do you attempt? Obviously, that second attempt clearance, if other athletes go, you know, clear on the first attempt at larger heights, that will put them in really good stead. But we can just see her coach just giving her a little bit of feedback there.
Confirmation of the results of Heat 2 there, and the small cues along the right-hand side of the score card there are the automatic qualifiers as the next fastest. So the capital Qs for Svoboda and Schippers, and Samuel and Evans have gone through to the final as well.
It's okay.
Our next field event to launch will be the women's triple jump, and that is how things look so far. It's not quite done and dusted yet because Rojas and Momona are both in the field today. 10 points for the winner, don't forget. But Rojas currently in pole position. Anything inside the top 4 in the point scoring positions will be enough for her. As we see the athletes then coming out of our showy entrance here with the lights and the fireworks. Maria Putzer, German bronze medalist in a lifetime best of 13.46 at the weekend. In position 1, Dovyl Zinzaletaite of Lithuania, national silver medalist with 13.96 recently, just a shade below her personal best. Jumping at position 3 will be Janine Sani Issouf, French silver medalist, 7 times a national champion overall, but not this year. Jenny Elba, the German silver medalist, 13.76, European Championships representative. European Indoor Champs finalist in 2017 as well. Susana Costa of Portugal. Recently a lifetime best for her and winning the Portuguese title. You'll hear me saying lots of national champions recently because with the European indoors coming up, lots of national championships took place at the weekend. Christina Markela set a national record in the Madrid meeting of 14 metres and 38. Here is the defending World Indoor Tour champion, Patricia Mamona, who hasn't quite given up her crown just yet. 14:44, not only her personal best, but that's also a Portuguese record set in the Madrid meeting. When she finished third, she also finished third in Karlsruhe right at the start of the competition. And this is Julimar Rojas, the world champion indoors and out. And she, well, in Karlsruhe at the start of this tour, she looked a little bit rusty, had a few run-up problems, but then she sailed out to a world lead and a personal best indoors of 14:92 in Madrid. So she's certainly coming into this in some fine form as well, as we see confirmation of the 8 athletes who will contest this. But Rojas, yeah, where did she pull that jump from at last week in Madrid?
Do you know, Madrid, this event just really lit up, didn't it? A lot of national records, personal best, season's best. So, yeah, hopefully these ladies will have carried that form on to here this evening.
We will keep you bang up to date with the women's triple jump. As we pick up the pole vault then, Arena Zhuk, as the bar has gone up to 4 metres and 57. First of the athletes to attempt this. She's taken second attempts at both 4:37 and 4:47. And she'll need a second attempt at 4:57 as well. Well, the 26-year-old Old Student Games champion from 2017. It's a little bit inconsistent this over the last few weeks or so. Jumped 4:56 in Madrid, 4:23 in a meeting in Poland, and then 4:61 in Birmingham. I guess as vaulters there are some days when it just doesn't come together, isn't it?
Every runway is completely different, and you know, you can see that sometimes, especially the the triple jump that we saw, like you say, in Karlsruhe, a lot of people struggle to find their speed on that runway. A lot of the surfaces are quite different. So yeah, I think we'll just see how the competition progresses. It seems to be whether people jump high, get out to a good distance in some of the horizontal jumps.
Commonwealth Games gold medalist Alicia Newman of Canada, who battled back from a really serious injury. It's great to see her back vaulting at a world-class level. Certainly, at just 24 years of age, lots more to come from her as well. Bronze medalist from the Commonwealth Games in 2014. Upgraded that to a gold on the Gold Coast in 2018. Set a national record, actually, in the first meeting of this tour in Karlsruhe. She is attempting 4 metres and 57. So Sidorova will come in at this height as well. Very intimate arena here, as we said, which means that not only the athletes are very close to the crowd as they make their way round on the outside of that track, but also the vaulters and the triple jumpers probably jumping and vaulting about as close to spectators as you probably get most places in the world, I think, here, Jen.
It's very much like a training environment, isn't it? It's quite a relaxed feel, and I think hopefully that will really bring it out of the athletes. I think sometimes when you can relax, just go through the motions, focus on yourself, get 1,500 people behind you supporting you. The crowd now I'm watching just the pole vault are really clapping Alicia Newman, and she's smiling and she's enjoying it.
Yeah, you can see just how close the crowd are there, just a few metres away from Alicia Newman as she takes on 4:57 for the first time. Yep. Very good. The smile at the start of the runway is obviously the key. A happy jumper is or happy vaulter is a successful vaulter. And Newman with those Olympic rings on that necklace as a memento of her appearance at Rio in 2016. She's 4:57 over at the first time. Kyria Kapulu goes next.
Yeah, she's really enjoying her jumping, isn't she? I was listening to what she said in Karlsruhe. Once she's got back from injury, she's just great to be back out there again.
So next on track, we move to the men's 60 metres hurdles, and this is how things stand. And again, for those of you good at maths, you'll work out that Jarrett Eaton at the top of the table there cannot be caught. 30 points from 30. Athletes can only score a maximum of 30 points. Their best 3 performances across the 6 tour events get them 10 points, and therefore 30 is the maximum you can get. These are the lineup for Heat 1, an interesting name in lane 6 that we'll come to in a second. Nothing alongside his season's best performance because he's just come back from injury. First of all, though, in lane 1, we have Ruben Walters, former Alabama University student. Set his best last year of 7:61, representing Trinidad and Tobago. Alongside him, Polish champion from the weekend, 7:71, Damian Schikier, 4th at the European Championships across Germany and Berlin over the 110 hurdles last year. In lane 7, also for Germany, finished 5th in the final in Leipzig at the National Championships, Maximilian Bayer, experienced 28-year-old. The German champion from the weekend was this man, Gregor Traber. He ran 7:62 to take his 5th national title. Andrew Pozzi, the world indoor champion, the European indoor champion, had written off the indoor season with a quad injury. All of a sudden, he's back in lane 6. Was named on the Britain team for the European indoors, fitness pending. This is very much part of that fitness pending. Freddie Crittenden, up-and-coming US athlete, 7:59. He ran in Birmingham at the weekend, his first ever run under 7:60 indoors. Well, those vests must have been on a buy one, get one free, I think. Jarrett Eaton, alongside him, the small match with the world indoor silver medalist. Already the tour winner. His successes in Torun and Madrid and Birmingham. And Eaton and Pozzi, of course, alongside each other here, lanes 5 and 6, with a 1 and 2 at the World Indoor Championships in Birmingham last year, separated by the slimmest of margins. But Pozzi is back, and we didn't expect to see him. He goes out of lane 6. How fit is he? Heat 1 of the men's 60 metres hurdles, first 2, plus the 4 fastest losers through to the final. Oh. So a recall. First angle we saw there wasn't the best for us to judge what exactly went on. It's that heavy taping on the back of Jarrett Eaton's hamstrings there. That's not for decoration. The old kinesio tape there is obviously something niggling away. Let's have another look at this, if we can tell from this angle here. Didn't look to be anything particularly obvious though, Jen. Maybe just a little bit of movement possibly on the far end.
Yeah, I'm looking again. Eaton, if anyone, I thought he just got a good start, not necessarily, you know, away before the gun. But yeah, let's leave it up to the judges and the officials.
Well, those are the reaction times, and as you can see there, Jenny Meadows spotted it. Jarrett Eaton in lane 5 is out. He came here knowing already he'd won $20,000 and the IAAF World Indoor Tour title. And he's not even going to get a chance to celebrate that. He's out.
Well, that's a shame. That's not what we wanted to see. We definitely wanted to see the head-to-head between himself, Ortega and Critten, maybe Pozzi as well, if he can get himself back into shape. But yeah, we just see that he's definitely the first to rise. I think particularly all the guys got a really good start. He wasn't, you know, there wasn't light and day between him and himself and the others. But you know, he took it well. You can't argue with statistics, and yeah, he was under the allowable limit. So yeah, unfortunately, 6 go in this heat.
Well, the vest says not sponsored, and I'm afraid the result list says not running, apart from out of the arena, Jarrett Eaton. He'll be back to get his prize later on, but not probably in the way that he wanted to. He's been on a little European tour. The US Championships, of which he's won the last couple, are this weekend coming in New York. As things stood earlier on, he wasn't on the official entry list on the USA Track and Field website, so we'll see whether he, having not run here, whether he was planning to go back and contest that. But certainly the Pozzi against Eaton battle, 5 and 6, is all of a sudden Pozzi against a vacant lane. Heat 1, second attempt. So no problems this time. Pozzi a bit sluggish away, got away very well. Traber in lane 3 going well, and Crittenden alongside him. It's Crittenden now. Pozzi started to come through. He finished very strongly there, Andrew Pozzi. Not surprisingly, a little bit of a circumspect start from him, coming back from injury. But it was Crittenden who took it, and Pozzi was closing fast at the finish.
He was. Crittenden did exactly what expected of him. You know, he's had a great tour so far. Was second in Birmingham, like you said, Chris, at the weekend with a personal best. Pozzi wasn't great out of the blocks, but he really showed some strength over the last 2 barriers. Here we go, we see it again. Crittenden got a really good start. as did Traber. And we can see now at this stage, you know, 4th and 5th barrier, Pozzi really comes through. Obviously, outdoors, it's the longer equivalent. It's another 50 metres, another 110 metres. So, yeah, hopefully that bodes well for his outdoor season. But Crittenden, you know, he smashed 4 of the 5 barriers, but he's a powerful athlete, and the speed took him all the way to the finish.
So Crittenden 7.66 and Pozzi 7.70, the automatic qualifier. So I guess if you're trying to prove your fitness, the one thing Andrew Pozzi needed to do, amongst other things, is get a couple of races into his legs. So getting through to the final is the first part of the job done for him this evening. Yeah,
he'll appreciate another run out in a couple of hours' time.
Yep, he won't have quite that long to recover. A tight turnaround here. The men's final is at 7:38 local time, 6:38 GMT. So what's he got? 40 minutes or so to get himself organised. Those are the 2 automatic qualifiers, with Traber and Bayer having to wait and see if they will get through with those times, as well as Shikia. But a shame for Jarrett Eaton, who, as we say, has been a good ambassador for this tour. It's great to have the top athletes. He's competed, as we say, in Boston, in Turin, in Madrid, a couple of other meetings in France in between as well. So it's been a proper European tour for him. And, of course, no major champs for the American athletes to aim for as well. So for someone like him, who is obviously a bit of a 60 specialist, a bit like Pozzi, really, I guess for him to have an indoor season is quite a big part of his year.
Yeah, it's obviously something that is planned. Some athletes decide to, you know, give the indoor season a miss. A lot of Americans have decided not to travel over to Europe, obviously with the World Championships in Doha being so late in the calendar. But, you know, he's decided, yeah, that's what he's going to do. He took the Tour victory, gives a little bit of a victory lap, even though he didn't manage to compete here. But it's been great to see him.
This is round 2 of the triple jump then. This is Pertzer of Germany, currently in 4th position. There was a host of fouls in round 1 as Pertzer this time gets a red flag, so she joins that list of fouls. There were fouls for Zinzalataite of Lithuania, Asani Asuf of France, Makala of Finland, and Mamona of Portugal. Rojas 13.57 in round 1. In second place, actually, Susanna Costa went out to 13.81, which is the lead, but a scattering of fouls in round 1, as we just see Rojas, who's based in Madrid, of course, coached these days by Ivan Pedroso. This is Dovi Zinzalataite, though, of Lithuania. She's really had some good news in her household today, which we'll tell you about in a second, as we see her in round 2 after a foul in round 1. Out towards 13.5 metres. A white flag this time, so the Lithuanian is on the board. Her partner, of course, is Great Britain sprinter Richard Kilty, the defending European indoor 60 metres champion, who didn't make the Great Britain team for that event, but actually has had a special invitation from European Athletics and now will be going to Glasgow. Yeah, it's great for him, you know, he's such a great athlete, 2 times the world indoor champion and European indoor champion, so great that we'll get to see him compete there. Great to see Deauville as well, back in the triple jump pit, and that was measured at 13.57, by the way, which puts her into second place as things stand in the very early stages of that. Remember, Rojas just needs to finish in the top 4. Mamona could deny her, as we see Asani Asuf of France after a foul in round 1. And that is a red flag in round 2. So struggling with her rhythm so far. Just joining us, a very warm welcome to the PSD Bank meeting here in Dusseldorf as we prepare for Heat 2 of the men's 60-metre hurdles, the IAAF World Indoor Tour finals on this Wednesday evening here in Western Germany. And those are your 7 athletes chasing the 2 automatic qualification places in Heat 2 of the men's 60 metres hurdles. The German teenager, just 18 on the inside, Stefan Volzer, World Youth finalist in 2017. Alongside him, the South American record holder at 60 hurdles and 110 hurdles, Gabriel Constantino of Brazil, produced his best performance of the winter in Birmingham at the weekend, running 7.62. The newly crowned Dutch champion, Koen Smet, took the title with 7.75 in Apeldoorn at the weekend. The defending World Indoor Tour champion, out of his reach this year, with Eaton having it sewn up, but Orlando Ortega, the Olympic silver medalist, European bronze medalist, won this 2 years ago. Silver medal in the German Championships at the weekend for Erik Baldeweit, who goes out of lane 6. Very busy winter he's had. Already 10 competitions this winter. Milan Trajkovic, Serbian-born, but representing Cyprus, 4 seconds on his record this winter and a third in Birmingham at the weekend. In solid form, 7:54, just outside his personal best. Aaron Mallett of the USA. As you can see, that season's best of 7:56, also his best performance indoors. He comes here fresh from Birmingham at the weekend as well. So those are your 7 athletes for Heat 2 of the men's 60-metre hurdles. First 2, remember, automatically qualify for the final. Volts are off the inside. Konstantino, Ortega, Trajkovic, Mallet, Balnavite and Smet. Problems with this one as well.
This is actually something we've not seen too much of in all the IAAF World Tour series. We've not really seen many full starts whatsoever, so 2 in a row.
Yeah, you can imagine it if it was, you know, the championship final, everything was on edge, but we're in the heats here. There's obviously 1 or 2 nerves, quite rightly. For a lot of athletes, this might be the climax of their indoor season, looking to finish on a high as we have a little look here. Again, not immediately obvious, is it?
No, it's probably one of the biggest, one of the main protagonists as well. Maybe Ortega or Trajkovic, let's hope not. They certainly seem to start the best, but again, you know, there wasn't light and day between themselves and any of the other components.
It looked tighter than the first one, where Eaton, on the slow motion replay, you could see his head came up literally a fraction of a second before the others, but there, it looked more even. If anybody's looking guilty, it's Aaron Mallett. I was going to say.
You can always tell, can't you, from facial expressions? You've got to be an actor. Don't look. Don't look.
Yeah, behind his lane number there, the red card's coming. Well, it's Ortega. So we've lost Eaton, and now we've lost Ortega. So we really have lost the 2 big guns, with the greatest respect of the returning Andrew Pozzi from injury, but we've lost the 2 in-form athletes from this winter who've been on the circuit, turning out some good performances, and neither of them are going to be in the final. Let's try and watch this again. We'll get a great angle of that one there. He's out of lane 3, Ortega. But there wasn't a whole lot in that.
No, he was just the first to rise, but again, it looked a pretty split, you know, start. He's the ultimate professional, though. You know, you are allowed to go over to the officials to ask, can you see the evidence, you know, and he's done that straight away. He is walking back towards his lane, so I think he may actually be in. I think he might have actually had a look, and maybe he can run under protest, or maybe he's just decided that, you know, the stats aren't right. Let's see what happens.
Well, you imagine if there was an opportunity to run under protest, that Jarrett Eaton would probably have taken that as well. But Ortega there, it was certainly very, very marginal, wasn't it? But the red card has seemingly been withdrawn. Certainly if Ortega just going back to his blocks is the marker, I guess, of that. We haven't seen reaction times this time, but he's back in.
Well, that's great. That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
We want to see him go in this final.
So, Volts are still got a little bit of indecision here while this is sorted out. I'd already crossed Ortega off my start list when I saw a red card, so I'm going to have to get some tidbits out in a second. He's going to have to be back on there. So we'll sort this one out for you. But again, as you said, John, we've done, what, 3 of these meetings now? We were in Karlsruhe, and we were in Torun, and we're here this evening, and we haven't seen many full starts across the 60-metre sprints or the hurdles. But certainly, unless Ortega's just putting the pressure on the officials here by saying, I'm going to go and stand there until you've sorted this out. So rather than walking off.
Yeah, he is going.
Yep.
They've been called to the marks.
Back in then. A short-lived disqualification for Orlando Ortega. So from the inside, Volts of Germany, Konstantino Brazil, Ortega Spain, Trajkovic of Cyprus, Mallet USA, Balnavite Germany, and Smet, nearest the camera, of the Netherlands. First 2 automatically reach the final. No problems this time. Chajkovic got away well, and Ortega got away pretty. Also going well, Constantino at this stage, and outside then Mallet, but coming through it's Ortega from Mallet and from Chajkovic. That's the 1-2-3. So Ortega could have been forgiven for sitting in his block slightly second time round and not taking any chances, but 7:58 was his winning time unofficially.
Yeah, it was quicker than the first one. The first one was won in 7:66. He did sit in his blocks. He made sure he was really, really safe. And I'm just keeping my eyes here on the officials to see if anyone's coming over. The encouraging thing is we didn't see the marks come up at the beginning. We didn't actually see the reaction times. So this makes me think that it was fine. But yeah, he did. He really sat in his blocks then. He didn't get the best of starts, but when he got going from hurdle 3 onwards, he just pulled away, and he had, daylight to spur at the end.
7:58, the exact same winning time that he produced to win the Spanish title at the weekend as well. Winner in Torun, second in Madrid behind Jarrett Eaton, but a comfortable progression for Ortega, who would have had a few nervy moments waiting for that disqualification to be overhauled. As we pick up Zinzala Taite in the triple jump, round 3, currently in second position. That one won't be measured. Rojas fouled in round 2, so the leader, who actually improved her position, is Susana Costa of Portugal, who extended her top mark to 13 metres and 94 in round 2, fresh off that lifetime best to win the Portuguese title at the weekend of 14 metres and 13, so she's on an upward curve. At the moment, she's got a couple of very good athletes behind her. If it stays as it is at the moment with positions, then Rojas will be the overall Tour champion, as we see the confirmation of Ortega and Mallet's progression as automatic qualifiers to the final later on.
Yeah, and looking at that 3rd and 4th positions there, Chajkovic and Constantino, they look like they'll make it through to the final as well.
So this is what Costa produced in round 2. This happened a couple of moments ago. 13:81 was her first round effort, and extended that out there to 13 metres and 94. So Susana Costa of Portugal, 34 years of age, so by some way the most experienced in the field, when you forget sometimes that Rojas is still only 23.
Yeah, she's a name that we've known for a couple of years now, isn't she? 23 years of age, and has really dominated this event for the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah,
when you think of it, the impact she's had and winning those global titles, still 23, what's to come. And of course, triple jump is still an evolving, very much an evolving event, isn't it, for women? As we see the women's pole vault, Stefanidi with 1 foul already at 4:62. 2 fouls for Stefanidi.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a lot of women pick up fouls in these early stages. We wouldn't expect Stefanidi to be fouling at this sort of
In fact, that's actually her first foul, Jen. Sorry, I've sold you down the river slightly there. So that was a recording of her first foul a couple of moments ago. So Stefanidi still currently on 1 failure. Newman has failed first time at 4:62. Kyria Kopulu and Sidorova have passed. So we're back on track with the men's 800 metres. This is a non-scoring event on the tour, but still we're set for a couple of fascinating contests over 4 laps here. This is the lineup for the first of those 2 races. Again, 4-lane track here means not only shared lanes, but it's going to be very interesting as we see how the athletes deal with these very tight turns. First of all, we meet on the outside. Jan van den Broek is the pacemaker, 3-time national champion of Belgium. On his inside, a man who's just picked up both the 800 and the 1500 national titles for Hungary, Balázs Vindic. Peter Bol of Australia. He's got his compatriot Joe Deng going in the other 800 metres final here, but 1:47.70, his lifetime best set in Ostrava recently. Alvaro de Arriba, the European indoor bronze medalist from 2017. And Aaron Botterman of Belgium on the inside, their 800-metre national champion, also in a personal best of 1:48.02. We're due to see Cornelius Tuwai of Kenya as well, who is a DNS. So away first time, so a bit more room for Peter Bol of Australia out of lane 3, and he's the one who's shown the form coming into this, and he tries to get himself to the front. He's got obviously Van den Broek, the pacemaker, outside him, who will lead them through the first 200 metres or so. So it's Van den Broek, the pacemaker, from Bol, just in behind him. comes Diariba. And then on the inside, Bottoman of Belgium, and towards the back of the field at the moment, Vindic of Hungary.
Yeah, they've gone through the first 200 metres there in 25.31 seconds, which is quick. Definitely only having 5 athletes in this race definitely helps with the spatial awareness. Sometimes some of the meet directors could put 7 or 8 in and it gets really crowded on a 4-lane track. But this looks like all the athletes are really setting themselves up to try and run a really good pace as they're following the pacemaker there. He's looking to come through in around about 50.5 seconds, so just outside that.
So 51.98 from Van der Broek, the pacemaker, as he leads Bol through Diariba, who's just come off the back of a silver medal performance at the Spanish Indoor Championships. But Peter Bol, who moved to Australia from Sudan at the age of 8 when he moved to Queensland. He's based in Melbourne and coached by Justin Rinaldi, and certainly has made some big strides over the course of the last 12 months or so. Only finished 7th, actually, at last summer's Australian Championships, and has improved considerably since then. So it's Bol who takes the bell from Vindic, Diariba and Bottoman.
Yeah, 200 metres to go and everyone's still in this. I think the time is gone, the fast time, but it's getting a really, really competitive race now.
So they move down the back. All of a sudden, Diariba, the Spaniard, the European indoor bronze medalist from 2017, strikes with 100 metres left to go and takes over from Balázs Vindic at the front of the field. Diariba driving. It's quite a long straight here. Still lots of work to do up towards the line as he chases a time. 1:46.64 for Alvaro Diariba. It's his season's best, comfortably by a couple of seconds, and he takes victory in race 1 of the 800 metres. As we pick up the pole vault. And this is live pictures of Stefanidi, second attempt at 4:62, with Newman having failed twice at 4:62 as well. Stefanidi looking for her first bar of the competition. And she gets it, so Stefanidi, a welcome clearance at 4:62, and her competition is up and running.
Yeah, she enjoyed that, didn't she? And it's always a relief once you clear your first height. So, yeah, 4:62, she's up and running.
Well, there wasn't a lot of competition for Diariba in that 800 metres down the home straight, as we just see a replay of Stefanidi, who's, as we said, had a few problems with illness, but again, she's given up plenty of air, isn't she? And she's the one, I guess, with the marker on her back, isn't she, that everyone wants to beat. Let's pick up the triple jump briefly as we move into the concluding stages of round 3. This is Kristiina Mäkelä of Finland, 2 fouls in her first 2 rounds. But that is out towards 14 metres for Mäkelä. In fact, that was measured at 13 metres and 96, and that is enough to take the lead for the Finn in round 3, 2 centimetres ahead of Costa. Rojas live, round 3. Oh, hello, red flag, unfortunately. When you look at the distance first and the flag second, sometimes you get excited.
Yeah, I was just about to get off my seat to try and work out what sort of jump that was. She went out, didn't she, a long way, but I'm just watching the plasticine get remarked there. Oh, it was marginal, really, so she's in great shape. If she gets herself on that board, she's going out towards 15 metres. So
Rojas, she's trying to see a replay of that. I'm afraid, Yulimar, you definitely did hit the plasticine, so unlike this full starts in the 60-metre hurdles where it's down to fractions, I'm afraid a spike mark in the plasticine is a bit of a giveaway. So there's confirmation on that first race of the men's 800 metres. Victory went to Diariba. Personal best down the list there for Aaron Bottoman of Belgium as well. And Peter Bol actually faded to finish 4th in the end. So 6 athletes will go in the second of these races. But on the outside, Sjön Vagers of the Netherlands will be the pacemaker in this one. So Vagers actually has 2 national titles of Holland to his name as well. 23 years of age. Alongside him, the man who's unbeaten so far over 800 metres in 2019. Won in Karlsruhe, and a lifetime best of 1:46.52. Took the Swedish title on Sunday as well, Andreas Kramer. Joseph Deng, the winner in Birmingham in a messy race at the weekend. There were fallers, a real pile-up on one of the bends, but Joseph Deng came through to win it. 20 years of age, he set an Oceania record in that race. One of the fallers in that race was Guy Learmonth on the left of that shot for Great Britain, who's off to the Euros as part of the Great Britain and Northern Ireland team in his native Scotland. He shared with the new German champion, just 21 years of age, Robert Farken. Bit of fraction outside his personal best this year. And right on the inside, Fabian Spinrath, another of the German athletes. getting the home support. So again, a reminder, this is a non-scoring event on the IAAF World Indoor Tour, but for the likes of Kramer and for Learmonth, who are going to be going to the European Indoors, this is a key part of their preparation. But keep an eye on Joseph Deng of Australia after that win in Birmingham at the weekend. Well, we saw just what indoor racing can be all about over 800 metres in that race in Birmingham at the weekend when Marcin Lewandowski was caught up in that. Guy Learmonth actually is running with a bit of protective strapping on his right wrist, I think, there as well. He broke a bone in his right wrist, didn't he, in that fall? But we see the pacemaker Vejas go to the front, tracked by Deng and Kramer and Learmonth.
Yeah, they're asked for a pace of around about 50.5 seconds, which again shows that they're trying to run maybe about 1 minute 45. It was interesting actually to see them go off. Kramer normally does run it really fast, and he has some front skills. He did that in Cols-Jour. They actually went off faster than the pacemaker, but the pacemaker has managed to get to the front. Deng right on his shoulder, followed by Kramer, followed by Learmonth, and they're going with this pace.
So Vejas, the pacemaker, steps aside, and it is Joseph Deng, who very much like Peter Bol in the last race, of Sudanese heritage, but also based out of Melbourne and also coached by Justin Rinaldi. He's the leader as they go through 52.19 at 400. Yeah,
a little bit slower than what they were hoping for, and I think sometimes when this happens, it just becomes a real race. Deng is at the front, it's a long way to lead. Kramer's just on his shoulder. He looks really strong. He looks like he's following the pace nicely, followed by Learmonth in third position. And these guys, it just remains the same as what it has from the beginning. Deng from Kramer, from Learmonth, from Farken, from Sprouted.
So Guy Learmonth trying to get himself a bit closer now. He's a powerful figure, but it's Andreas Kramer, as we say, unbeaten over 800 metres this year. He was second in this last year behind Adam Kashot, who's not racing indoors this year, and it's Kramer down the back who makes his bid for home. But Deng is still realising there's plenty of running left, and Farken, the German champion from the back of the field, is just passing Learmonth as well as it starts to concertina up on this long straight. Still plenty that can happen here as Kramer now is challenged by Deng down the outside. Farken coming to Kramer. He's done enough. Kramer wins it. Impressive turn of foot from him, and to strength to hang on. Kramer from Deng. Farken was finishing well from Learmonth. 1:48.21 the winning time.
Yeah, that's Kramer's fifth race and his fifth victory. He looked really good. 1:48 finish time, not as fast as what we thought we would see. Not as fast as Heat 1, actually. Dariba ran a couple of seconds faster, but that was actually a true run race. The pacemaker actually couldn't actually get them to 400 metres. He stopped at about 350. But when Kramer really put his foot down, he did it at a vital point. Just before 200 metres to go, Deng had led behind the pacemaker for just about 600 metres. And when someone decides to take over from you at that point, you really just have to keep working hard, keep the faith, keep the belief. But, you know, Kramer's really, really powerful. He's working really hard here. You can see his legs are fading, but he's pumping his arms. If your legs won't go, use your arms. And he manages to take the victory. And, yeah, fifth win out of 5.
And again, an exciting up-and-coming prospect for Sweden. He's just 21, Andreas Kramer, the European under-23 800 champion from 2017. Represented Sweden in the World Indoor Champs in Birmingham when he knocked out in the early rounds. But certainly for him, the opportunity to go to the Euros, you'd have to say with a decent chance of getting something done there. As we see the composite, that's the two heats put together there. And as Jenny Meadows alongside me says, Dariba, the fastest across the two heats. And a personal best for Bottoman there, third fastest overall. So we see a bit of a conflab here going on in the women's triple jump. There's some sort of technical issue there between certainly Costa is interested, and certainly the current leader Makela. Of course, competitors are being reordered at this point, so they're just checking who's going in which position. Competitors reordered, of course, on this IAAF World Indoor Tour after 3 rounds, and also then again after 5 rounds, with the leader jumping last to create a bit of drama and a bit of tension, and also for, I guess, the benefit of the leader to be able to decide exactly what they need to do, depending on the performances of other competitors. As we go back live to the pole vault, we're at 467 at the moment. And this is a second attempt for Nicoletta Kiriakopoulou. Alicia Newman has passed at 467. So has Stefanidi, and so has Sidorova, who has 1 clearance on her card so far at 457. So Kiriakopoulou here, second attempt at 4 meters 67. And it's good. It's good from the 12 times national champion of Greece. Again, we say, has come here with the bounce factor, I guess. 481, an equal PB in Birmingham at the weekend. We talk about whether athletes can produce again, 4 days later, Jen. We'll talk much more about that with Samuel Tefera a little bit later on. What can he produce 4 days on from that incredible run in Birmingham with some of the competition he's got? But for Kyriakopoulos, I guess, and particularly for field athletes as well, who are, I guess, a lot of rhythm and things and you know, technical aspects coming together, I imagine competition's relatively close together. Of course, it's physically demanding as well, but I'm sure that the rhythm and the momentum you can build up. As we see in the triple jump, Patricia Mamona here, who had 3 fouls in the first 3 rounds, but the good news there is she did get a white flag, and that was measured at 13.98, so it's getting very tight at the top end. That has put Mamona into the lead. And interestingly enough, it nudges Rojas down to 5th position. Now, of course, Rojas needs a top 4 to take the overall indoor tour title. A Mamona win, and Rojas finishing 5th, we'll give it to Mamona. So we're on track again with the men's 60 metres. This is another of the non-scoring events. That is the start list. It might be non-scoring, but we've still got one of the star turns of 60-metre and 100-metre sprinting these days, right in the centre. Out of lane 1, first of all, the US bronze medalist outdoors from 2017, Christopher Belcher. His best is 6.72. To the outside we go, and the German silver medalist from the weekend in Leipzig, 6.67, the best for Michael Pohl. A Dutch title and a lifetime best of 6.63 at the weekend for Joris van Gool. Another of the Americans, the World University Games silver medalist, Bryce Robinson, also competed in Birmingham. He's actually run over 300 metres, as well as a host of 60 metres this winter as well. Emery Barnes, the World Indoor finalist, Balkan champion in Istanbul. 6.69 he ran. Hassan Taftian, the national record holder of Iran over 60 and 100 metres, based in Paris. 5th in the World Indoor Final in Birmingham last year over 60. And then the star of China, Su Bingchan, 6.47 he ran at the weekend in Birmingham. He's the Asian record holder at 6.42. He's the meeting record holder here as well, set last year. Alongside him is the experienced American Mike Rogers, 33 years of age. He finished 3rd behind Su Bingchan in Birmingham at the weekend when he ran at 6.54. So remember, non-scoring event, 1 straight final, the men's 60 metres. Su Bingchan, already the Asian indoor record holder. He's ran 6.52 and 6.47 in his 2 European appearances over the course of the last week or so. What's he got here in Dusseldorf this evening? Men's 60 final. Belcher off the inside, Van Gool, Barnes, Su Bingchan, Rogers, Taftian, Robinson and Pohl. Away first time, Su away well, Barnes alongside him got away above it. Su moving away now, Su powering up to the line, 6.49 unofficially for Su Bingchan, just outside his performance at Birmingham at the weekend, but Su Bingchan once again building himself up nicely for what could be a very exciting year for him at World Championship level as well. Job done, 3 out of 3 for Su Bingchan on his little European tour, 6.49 the winning time.
Yeah, that's still the 2nd fastest time in the world this year. He's really dominating in this event. It was really great to see no problems at the start. After what we've seen in the 60-metre hurdles, I was kind of holding my breath, but that's the race that we wanted to see. He was very dominant. Didn't probably get the best start. Both the guys on the lanes outside him actually reacted a little bit faster than him, but, you know, from about 20, 25 metres out, he really, really dominated. And you know, even could slow down just straight through the line. So 6.49 seconds, like I say, just a couple of hundredths slower than what he ran in Birmingham, but great to get again under 6.5 seconds.
Yeah, he's churned out three three performances just either side of 6.5 seconds in the space of a week as Su Bing Chan. Good performance from Bryce Robinson, by the way, who took second, his best of the winter, 6.57, and Mike Rogers the same time, finishing in third. So to the triple jump we go with Yulimar Rojas in fifth position and currently seeing the IAAF World Indoor Tour title slipping out of her grasp. What's she got here? This is round 4. And again, distance-wise it looked good, but I'm afraid it's another foul.
When she gets it right, she's amazing, isn't she? We know that she can go out to 15 metres. Probably a frustrating evening for her here. She knows she's got the distance. It's just if she can actually get herself on that board.
And she needs to improve at the moment by a couple of centimetres only. As we see Stefanidi live in the pole vault here. And she aborts that one. That was a first attempt at 4.72. Again, you mentioned it earlier on, Jen, there's a lot of tactical game playing going on in the pole vault because Kyria Kapulu's passed at 4.72. Sidorova will vault at this height. As we pick up in the triple jump, Michaela, who's just lost her lead, the Finnish athlete, to Mamona at 13.98. 2 centimetres ahead of what Makala put round. That looks a white flag, a little consolatory clap to herself there, but it looks in the high 13-metre mark again. 13.98 is the current lead.
Yeah, it's not quite the triple jump competition we were expecting so far, but it's definitely in. She's just haven't got
14 metres and 5 for Makala, so she takes the lead. Gets it back from Patricia Mamona. So it's the matter of, let's have a look how much is separating the top few in the triple. Makala 14.05 has the lead, Mamona 13.98 in second, Costa 13.94 is in third. So 11 centimetres separating the top 3. So you see confirmation there of that distance for Makala. Asani Asuf 13.58 in fourth, and then Rojas and Zinzala Taiti are currently tied fifth in 13.57. This is live with round 5 for Mamona. Just seen her lead slip away. White flag, and that looks good.
Yeah, it does look good. That looks in excess of 14.05 from what I can gather. Let's see.
Well, a shake of the head from Patricia Mamona there, but certainly that looks pretty good. We're not at a great angle here, actually. We're our live commentary position. We're beyond the finish line here. As we see a replay of this. Still waiting for the distance to come up on our computers. 14.22, confirmation that Mamona takes the lead back. Michaela was in the lead for the space of about a minute. So again, impactful at the top end of the leaderboard for the IAAF World Indoor Tour title in the women's triple jump. Rojas started the night on 17 points. Mamona started it on 10. 10 points for the victory for Mamona, with Rojas currently outside the point-scoring positions. This is round 5 for Maria Putzer of Germany, currently in 8th position. The best of 12.92, and that looks to be short of that in the penultimate round for the German. But exciting competition here, and I don't think, I think Rojas, if you said to her, you've got to finish in the top 4 to take the title and take $20,000, by the way. This is not just a little trophy and a medal that you take home. This is some serious amount of cash, as well as the prestige of winning the IAAF World Indoor Tour title. At the moment, Rojas, I mean, what is it about Germany? Because she wasn't at it in Karlsruhe. She had a fantastic competition in Madrid, and back in Germany, it's not happening for her again. Live with the pole vault, Stefanidi, with Newman having failed twice at 4.72. Stefanidi will have her second attempt. Kyria Kapulu, by the way, is the current leader with her clearance at 4.67 meters. No one clear yet at 4.72, which is this height. Still no one clear. Stefanidi will go to a third attempt for the first time. First bit of jeopardy for her in this competition.
We've seen some great heights, haven't we, in all the competitions this year. In Birmingham, there was 3 ladies over 4.81.
Okay, as the pole vault continues towards its climax, there's a climax right now on the track. It's time for the women's 60 metres final. So these are the actions from the heats earlier on. Marie-José Tarlou in the orange in the centre, got out extremely well. Chased home by Imani Lansico of Great Britain. They were the 1 and 2 automatic qualifiers who made it through to this final. Kwai also going through, finishing in 3rd position. But Tarlou again extremely consistent, and this was the second of the semi-finals with Svoboda and Skippers in the central lanes, and Svoboda with that trademark strong start and Skippers with an equally, I guess, trademark strong finish, and they were the 1 and 2 taking the automatic spots in this women's 60 metres final, which is our next track event here. So just after 7:30 local time, wherever you're watching us around Europe, around the world, very warm welcome to Dusseldorf. Myself, Chris Temple and Jenny Meadows with you as we meet the athletes for the final of the women's 60 metres, which is a scoring event, don't forget, but Svoboda has it sewn up as Seidlova just loses her bearing slightly, forgets where the start of the 60 metres is. Clara Seidlova, 4th in her heat, takes lane 1. We go 1 to 8 here. Lisa Marie Kwai, the German champion, 7:32 in her heat. Just got her one of the outside lanes. Guyan Evans, who's about to relinquish officially her IAAF World Indoor Tour title from 2 years ago when this event was last a scoring one. She has lane 2 after a 7:34 performance in the heat. Jamila Samuel, 7:34 she ran in the heat for the Netherlands. European 200 metres bronze medalist. And here is our champion, can't be caught, Eva Svoboda, 7:08. That time she set in the heats in Karlsruhe in the first leg of this tour. She's just seen Kambunji of Switzerland tie it in the Swiss National Championships. Can Svoboda go outright world leader again? Imani Lansico of Great Britain, 21 years of age, an up-and-coming British sprint talent. She has lane 6. And the last 2 lanes will be filled by already 2 very decorated international global stars. Marie-José Tarlou, multiple major championship silver medalist over the last couple of years. She has lane 4. 7:14 in her heat. The fastest time in the world this year. And last to emerge from the tunnel, Daphne Skippers, the double world 200 metres champion and the newly crowned Dutch champion over 60 metres, building up towards the European indoors. Skippers the last to head to the start line in the centre of the Arena Sport Park here in Dusseldorf. And the women's 60 metres final. Svoboda, remember, unbeaten so far this year. But Skippers and Tarlou coming into this to certainly with the form to challenge her, Jenny Meadows.
Yeah, both of those athletes coming in with personal bests. Skippers 7:18 from the Dutch Championships of the weekend, and Marie-José Tarlou from 7:14 about 45 minutes ago.
Yep, so, and Svoboda has been used to having lanes 4 and 5 over the course of the last couple of weeks since she's been in this fine form. She finds herself in 3 here, just the second fastest in the heats earlier on. Tarlou with that 7:14 was the fastest qualifier, the women's 60 metre final. Away first time, good start in lane 2 from Evans, and now Svoboda into her running, and Tarlou outside her. It's Svoboda and Tarlou coming through to take it. And Marie-José Tarlou, 7:01, a world-leading time for the Ivorian. What a performance from the World Indoor silver medalist. She is absolutely delighted. She's on top of the world rankings, and she has taken the 60 metres crown here in Dusseldorf.
Her reaction from the blocks was superb, and we've not seen anyone get out faster than Svoboda all season, and she took half a metre out of her in the first metre alone, rounded up to 7:02 to 600ths of a second, which is a massive distance over 60 metres, better than the next fastest person in the world, and she is delighted with that.
Well, her times have been going in the right direction, that is for sure. 7:16 in Torrens, 7:15 in a meeting in France, 7:15 at the weekend, 7:14 in the heat earlier, and now 7:02 officially. Marie-José Tarlou, and from her reaction, she wasn't expecting it to be even that good. She got a flyer.
She did get a flyer, and sometimes you could just never recreate that. Svoboda ran extremely well. I'm sure she's run a fantastic time as well. And you can see that there's actual, big margin between herself and Skippers in 3rd position. And Skippers ran incredibly well as well. But that reaction from the gun, the race was over after 1-2 metres, and you know, it just leaves Svoboda just wondering what could she do about it, and the answer is you can't do anything about it when an athlete just gets a reaction like that.
Well, we of course world lead, we get up on the scoreboard here in our computer and in the arena as well, but alongside that it's a meeting record for Marie-Josée Tallou, and it is a lifetime best indoors as well, which explains her extreme enthusiasm. Confirmation there, WL world lead for Tallou, 7.02, and the best performance of her career, surpassing her 7.05. Svoboda 7.10 in second and Skipper's 7.19 in third, but it's Svoboda's title overall as a result of some great performances. There's confirmation of that, and Tallou with the 10 points there lifts herself above Skipper's to finish in second position. $3,000 by the way on the night for the winner as well. So whilst Svoboda has taken the big pot for the overall title, Tallou, as well as a personal best, a meeting record and a world league, gets $3,000. Triple jump, who's getting the $20,000 in that? Rojas here in round 5. Needs to produce something further than 14 metres 22. Also needs a white flag. Looks better for distance and looks better on the flag as well. A bit of a smile. It was a white flag for Rojas, 14 metres and 45. So while that title looked like it was slipping away, all of a sudden, Rojas, 14.45, takes the lead from Momona.
That was a pressure jump, wasn't it? She needed that 5th round to actually get that jump in. It actually shows what a great competitor she is.
Pole vaults. We're live with Kyria Kapulu here. In fact, that's Sidorova, sorry, with Sidorova, who's cleared 4.72 at the second attempt. Angelika Sidorova. Stefanidi, by the way, has failed 3 times at 4.72 and is out of the competition with her clearance only at 4.62. So with Newman also out, that means that Sidorova is going to be crowned as the overall champion. But who will take the title here on the evening? Kyria Kapulu has passed at 4.72, as you can see. She's now at 4.77. There's only 2 competitors left, Kyria Kapulu and Sidorova. That is how things stand in the 1-2-3 at the moment. Kyria Kapulu would go within 4 centimetres of her personal best here if she could clear this height at 4.77. This is her first attempt. Nope, not to be. Well, if anybody wants to understand pole vault more, Holly Bradshaw of Great Britain has been putting some terrific, I guess, technical advice, hasn't she? I think she's sort of heard a few things, heard around the sort of circuit and things, and she wanted to put a few things straight. She's been putting lessons out for people who don't understand pole vault quite, and it's a very technical event.
It is a technical event, and I know both you and I, Chris, have been following that all week, haven't we? And she actually explained, you know, we just obviously saw the jumper boards there, and she said sometimes, you know, it's a physical event. You've got to, you know, get all your power, all your trajectory in every event. Sometimes it really helps just to bail when you know you're not going to make it.
Triple jump, Zinzalataite, round 6 after 3 consecutive fouls. These are live pictures, and that is a 4th consecutive foul for Zinzalataite. So she will not improve on her 6th position with her best from her only legal jump, in fact, in round 2 of 13 metres and 57. All 3 athletes who've jumped in round 6 have fouled so far. So Putzer will finish 8th, Elba of Germany 7th, Zinzalataite of Lithuania will finish in 6th position. So fascinating to see now, with only 1 jump left, Rojas will need to finish in the top 4. There's only 5 athletes left, and she's currently leading as we see a very close foul, but unfortunately, anything in the plasticine is too much. Confirmation of that scorecard, which doesn't make hugely pretty reading. Asani Yusuf live in the triple jump. Currently in 5th with 13.58. Looks about similar again, doesn't it, as she gets the white flag as she leaves the pit. But you were talking about pressure jumps for Rojas, Jenny, a short time ago, and that certainly was, wasn't it, after 3 fouls and seeing herself out of the positions that she needed to be in to take the title.
Yeah, we saw her do the same in Coljor. She had a lot of fouls, and then, you know, she just pulled one out, a similar distance, actually, around about 14 metres 40. We know she's in great shape. 10 days ago in Madrid, she went out almost to 15 metres. So, yeah, shows what a competitor that she is. You know, she needed to get the jump in. She didn't want to leave it to the 6th round. She managed to secure that in the 5th round, and hopefully she can enjoy the victory and, you know, hopefully try and get out there to 15 metres in that last round now.
So here's Susanna Costa, currently in 4th position. Can she get herself into the top 3? Her best mark so far is 13.94. She'd love to go beyond 14 metres. 14.13, her recently set new personal best. It's going to be short of that, and probably short, I think, of improving on her 13.94 mark so far. Of course, Susana Costa, the experienced, recently crowned Portuguese champion. Multiple major championship performer for Portugal. So wait for the measurement there. 13.62, by the way, for Asani Yusuf, kept her in 5th place. As we see on the runway now, Kristina Markkula of Finland. With that recent national record of 14 meters and 38. She's been a little bit short of that here in 14.05. Can she impact on the top 2 places? 14.22 is her target, which would get her temporarily maybe into 2nd place ahead of Mamona. Only 3 jumpers in total left in this women's triple. Markkula urging this crowd here in Dusseldorf to get behind her. She passed round 5, in fact, Markkula, to save herself for one final push here. Looking to extend beyond 14.05, her best performance so far. And again, with the naked eye, doesn't look to be enough, so looks like a 3rd place finish as Markkula does get the white flag. It will be measured. But 14.05, she was in the lead for a couple of minutes anyway earlier on.
She was, but I'm sure getting over 14 metres again, you know, with that European Indoor Championships coming up, she got a personal best, like you said, about 10 days ago in Madrid, 14.38. And getting over 14 metres is really a good indication of world-class jumping.
So just to let you know, by the way, if you are tuning in for the men's 60 metres hurdles final and you're looking at the official running order of the event this evening, and it's going to be a little bit later than planned. We understand that a protest has gone in that event. An interesting protest, Jen, because it's not actually about somebody getting disqualified, it's about somebody else being allowed to run. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's just watch the conclusion of the triple jump. It's a red flag for Mamona. It's long, but it's a red flag, unfortunately, in the final round. So Mamona will finish in 2nd place for Portugal with her best of 14 meters 22, which gives Rojas not only the win tonight, but also the overall title. We'll wrap that up in a second. Back to the pole vault. Fast and furious action here in Dusseldorf, the IAAF World Indoor Tour. Kyria Kapulu, 2 failures at 4.77. This is Angelika Sidorova, 2nd attempt, 4.77. It's going to stay on. It's there for Sidorova. 4.77, a meeting record for the authorized neutral athlete, the recently crowned Russian champion. And that solidifies her position here at the top of the tree. And certainly now she knows that with Stefanidi out of the running and Newman out of the running, it's her title. And again, I guess we're going pressure-free now in terms of trying to extend. She's jumped 4.91 this year, don't forget.
Yeah, she'd already tied the meet record with the bar previously at 4.72, but she gets that outright now at 4.77 on a 2nd attempt. The bar should go up in 5 centimetre segments, so 4.82 her next attempt.
So here's our winner and our overall title holder. Anything special from Rojas in round 6? Well, she's aborted that one, I think, at the last minute there. She's right at the end, pulled out of it, didn't she? And 14.46 in the end, even though it looked like she pulled out of it, actually ended up being her best jump. I just thought she, at the last second there, maybe it was just the way she exited the pit or the way her legs just landed in the sand, but it looked so much like she'd given up on it.
It was a step, really. The hop was good, but the step just didn't seem to connect, and I think she got herself in a tricky situation as she actually went into that jump. And obviously we saw when she landed, it was almost like she wasn't ready to land, but that actually ended up being her best. That definitely is an indication if she would have got the step right, what she could get out to. So
14.46, the winning mark for Julimar Rojas, who with that takes the IAAF World Indoor Tour title in the women's triple jump. Mamona, 14.22, her closest rival again. So remember, we still have field event action to come. The women's pole vault is still going on. The men's high jump is due to get going. We have a very exciting Japanese athlete, Naoto Tobei, involved in that. There'll be big German support behind the European champion Mateusz Żybilko as well when the men's high jump gets underway. But here, live in the pole vault, we are coming towards the conclusion of this event. And it will be the conclusion of Nicoletta Kyriakopoulou's evening if she doesn't clear this. 3rd attempt at 4.77 meters. To deny Sidorova victory for now. Wasn't close. bar came off on the way up for Nicoletta Kiriakopoulos. Her clearance of 4 meters and 67 gives her second position overall and gives Sidorova the victory. Again, people look at that and they say, well, she passed at the last height and then failed 3 times at the next one. But as we were talking about earlier, Jim, for those new to the pole vault, often tactics in terms of count back the number of failures on your card can decide things if you tie heights with other competitors. So when they see what other competitors are doing, there are tactical passes. It's not because she thinks she could easily clear it. Sometimes it's all down to those tactics. And that time it didn't work out, but I'm sure many times it does.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. It's actually great that she's come here and she's actually finished in second position. She has had some time out of the sport, being injured. So actually to get back and be competing with those girls, clearing these sorts of heights. 481 in Birmingham just at the weekend, along with Holly Bradshaw and Katie Nagot. You know, these girls are really clearing these 470s and 480 bars regularly. So yeah, 472 here this evening. I'm sure she'll be delighted with that.
So Kiriakopoulos, just we saw her coach filming it all on the iPad, and again it's the instant feedback these days, isn't it? As Rojas takes the flowers and a lap of honour. And it's nice as well that the triple jump gets the opportunity here to be showcased and to celebrate the achievements of Yulimar Rojas, who's running around the track here, as you can see, just in front of us actually. We are just up above where she was running past there. And here's confirmation then of those final standings. It was dicey for a while for Rojas. It certainly made it exciting rather than being a procession. But you wouldn't know that when you're looking back at these stats in a year's time. Oh, she won it comfortably from Momona and Pelotero, who beat Rojas in Karlsruhe at the start of the tour. So we had the best part of an hour's action still to come. Let's go back to that men's 60-metre hurdles, by the way, Jen, as we see Rojas doing her lap of honour here and signing a few autographs on the way round. Now, the complaint that's gone in is from Jarrett Eaton, who got disqualified from Heat 1 of the 60-metre hurdles for a full start. His complaint is that Ortega was allowed to run in Heat 2 after also apparently full starting. So
I'm just wondering why he may not have known the rules, because as an athlete, you're always allowed to run under protest if you don't think, you know, if the decision was right. So that doesn't mean that the result will stand. He could have maybe had a word with the officials and said, I'm going to run, maybe we can talk about it later, and then if you've given that situation, it at least gives you an option. So I think Ortega was probably a little bit more experienced. We don't know the outcome of, you know, what his reaction was. We didn't get to see the data on the screen, but Ortega definitely, you know, made that decision to go and have a word with the officials, look at that, and don't really know what you can do at this you know, late stage, really. He should have made the decision when he had the opportunity at the time. I don't know whether we're allowed to add anybody at this point. Maybe he can run and not score any points. Obviously, we know he's already won the tour anyway, but maybe he just wants to get a run out. I'll
tell you what we've seen happen before in these sort of events is competitors run a time trial on their own sometimes, where, you know, Jarrett Eaton could end up running a time trial on his own to try and get a time to make the final. But we'll come back to that in a second, because at the moment that is all unclear, but it does mean a delay to the men's 60-metre hurdles final. But this is our pole vault champion, not just here in Dusseldorf this evening, but on the IAAF World Indoor Tour. The MR on the scorecard of Angelika Sidorova, the Russian athlete competing as a neutral athlete, meeting record. Can she improve it further? 482 the bar's gone up to. First attempt. No.
It's quite difficult, isn't it, when the meets won, the tours won, and now you're just actually pushing yourself. You know, how high can you actually get?
She looks spent. She looks absolutely out of it, Sidorova there. It's again, if anybody who thinks that pole vault is not a testing, you're only running up, what is it, 30, 40, 50 metres or so, and the amount of physical power that takes to use those poles to get over these supreme heights. You could just see from Sidorova there resting on the bed exactly what it takes out of these athletes. And this was an aborted jump.
It was. That's her 6th jump of the competition. So, you know, you can see the scorecard of some of the other athletes. They've had far more jumps than she has. She actually came in at 457. She missed a couple of heights, and then she came in the competition again at 472. Maybe it's just the combination of the competitions that she's had the last few weeks. I think she competed in the Russian Champs just 4 days ago.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it is probably a combination of those things. As we see Sidorova, who's got plenty of time on her jump clock once the bar is re-raised and the cone is removed. Just to let you know, by the way, there are 2 IAAF World Indoor Tour titles that were already decided before we came into this meeting this evening. That was the women's 3,000 metres, which went to Alamaz Samuel, and Echevarria in the men's long jump. So we're back on track with another non-scoring event. This is the women's 400 metres. 2 laps of the track. Just the three athletes lining up in this one. There they are. Now, we saw Astrid Ingebrigtsen a little bit earlier on, who we mentioned is the wife of Philip Ingebrigtsen, the middle of the Ingebrigtsen brothers that we'll see later on, or certainly two of them, Jakob and Philip, taking part here. This is her 400 metres debut. We'll talk more about that in a second, as we see a local athlete from here in Dusseldorf, the German 400 metres hurdles silver medalist, Jamila Böhm, who actually won this event last year. She's back to try and make it 2 in a row. Inside her, a personal best in the heats of the German Championships of the weekend, but didn't get her in the final. Lena Naumann goes out of lane 3. And in lane 2, we've already seen Astrid Ingebrigtsen run in the 60 metres here already. And she lines up for her 400 metres debut. She's a Norwegian 200 metres indoor champion, but this is her first time at 2 laps. 3 athletes then, non-scoring event, women's 400 metres. We still have the men's 400 metres to come, which is a scoring event, and it's on a knife edge. Maslach against Strother. Away first time. So for Astrid Ingebrigtsen here, new territory, Jenny Meadows.
Yeah, 2 laps. I think she might need a bell to remember that she has to do more than 1 lap. Started incredibly well, actually, in the difficult lane 2 here, the tighter curve. Obviously, she's already warmed up from that 60 metres. Got a couple of medals at the National Championships in Norway at the weekend. But yeah, it's a favoured outside lane, Boom, who's actually leading at the bell.
Yeah, as we often see, the outside lanes with the advantage indoors, and it's Jamila Böhm looking to make it 2 in a row. Naumann in second place. And now Astrid Ingebrigtsen will be starting to feel the pinch, I'm sure, of this extended distance now, but she is starting to close, if anything, as Naumann moves onto the shoulder of Böhm. And remember, not all indoor tracks have long home straights, but plenty can still change over the last few metres here, as now Naumann strikes down the outside. Böhm starts to tie up, and Lena Naumann moving away powerfully here. Ingebrigtsen closing, trying to get second, but it's Naumann from Böhm and from Ingebrigtsen, 54.61 rather, for the winner Naumann, which is just 0.04 of a second outside that PB she set at the weekend.
Yeah, I think she really benefited from having that, really good run out that last 50 metres or so. And they are really tight curves here and quite long straights, so you can actually make a real impact once you get onto the straights. On the back straight, Newman was really putting Böhm under pressure, and yeah, really good to see a really competitive domestic race there.
Well, while we were watching that, the pole vault has moved on, because Sidorova cleared 4.77. This is her second attempt at 4.82. So the last 2 we've seen live, she's aborted. But in the middle of that, 4.77, a clearance to improve that meeting record. And now 1 more attempt left at 4.82. We said earlier on she cleared 4 meters 80 to win the Russian Championships last week. So again, she'll take her time as we just wrap up that women's 400 meters for you. Naumann from Böhm and from Astrid Ingebrigtsen. Well, we've seen a whole host of meeting records already this evening. We've seen top performances from the likes of Su Bingqian. We've got some fantastic racing still to come. If you've just tuned in, where have you been for the last hour and a half, first of all? But over the course of the next hour or so, we've got some fascinating contests. The women's 800 metres is absolutely wide open. Bitam Elemu is the current standings leader, but Shalana Oscan-Clark of Great Britain has moved her way in, and Sidorova actually is closing her competition there. Enough is enough, she says, when you're out on your own and you have it all wrapped up. I guess physically you have to make that judgment as to what is too much and what is the balance between putting on a show for the crowd. So the clearance of 4.77, the meeting record, and the IAAF World Indoor title for the authorised neutral athlete Angelika Sidorova.
Yeah, she's not had a bad evening, has she? Wrapped the title up. It was all to play for as she came into this competition. It was very much bigged up between her and Stefanidi, but she's took another victory. And I really enjoy watching these girls. You can just see them talking now. They have great camaraderie, total respect for each other, the amount of training and the type of training you've got to put in to be able to, run down that runway launch herself over the bar. You know, it's a very, very physical event, and she did look tired, so I think it is just that culmination of quite a lot of competitions in such a short spell. The indoor season is only 4, 5, 6 weeks, you know, of duration at the very most.
And how good is that European Indoor Championship looking in this event with Stefanidi, if she's coming back to some form? Didn't necessarily show it tonight, but she was on record saying she felt better going into this than she has done over the course of the last few weeks or so. Throw in Holly Bradshaw of Great Britain, who's been jumping very well indeed. 481, of course. Sidorova has cleared 477 this evening. Kire Kapulu has come back into form as well. So that is a wide open medal chase in Glasgow, isn't it?
It is. We've got a couple of Swedish athletes as well who are really pushing those, you know, 470 and 480 bars. So just getting to that final will be tough in itself.
So exciting times at the start of March for those European Indoor Championships in Glasgow, for which teams are named and are being formed, and confirmation of that meeting record and the victory for Sidorova and the overall title. Kire Kapulu and Stefanidi. No mark for the former world champion Yaroslav Silva of Cuba, who struggled. So still to come, as we say, we have the 400 metres for men, which is due relatively shortly in about 10 minutes or so. But first of our presentations being made here. There are a couple of different presentations as we crown some of the athletes who have made the grade here. Kristina Schwanitz, Hulimar Rojas, Eva Svoboda, and Jarrett Eaton, fresh from his protest in the 60-metre hurdles, has got to come out and claim his title here.
So I'm just wondering whether that's an indication of that we're not going to see him run here this evening. He's got his tracksuit on, hasn't he? He doesn't look like he's, you know, limbering up for this final.
But of course, this presentation was scheduled in because the men's 60-metre hurdles final should have happened by now, hence why it's scheduled in here. But I think that probably is as stronger indication as we're going to get that Eaton won't be running. I guess as we see Kristina Schwanitz, first of all, the women's shot put, a clear winner of that, went out to a world lead of 19 metres and 54. Recently, not quite in that ballpark today, Kristina Schwanitz, but she didn't need to be. And on home soil, a very popular winner, not just here in Dusseldorf, but of the overall IAAF World Indoor Tour. And again, likes of Anita Martin, just a little bit below her best at the moment indoors. Schwanitz looking a strong hope for a gold for Germany in Glasgow. The moves behind Schwanitz are from Hulimar Rojas, who again, the Madrid-based athlete, will, I'm sure, tell us she had it all under control this evening, but after 3 straight fouls, it got a bit jittery.
It did get jittery, but it's great to see her exuberant and really excited to win here this evening. What a great athlete she is, and when she does get it right, you know, 15 metres plus is definitely on the cards.
Don't forget, as well as the $20,000 prize for winning the overall title, the other thing that these athletes get is a wildcard entry to the IAAF World Indoor Championships early next year in Nanjing in China. Their countries still have to select them, but they do have a wildcard entry. So for the likes of Schwanitz and Rojas, none of that nervous qualifying at the start of next year. Eva Svoboda, well, she lost her unbeaten record here this evening, but she has been the standout performer over 60 metres. And we've seen some big smiles from her, but she actually doesn't quite look as happy as we've seen her recently.
She doesn't. I think she was just shocked. You know, Marie-Joseph Tillou just pulled that out of nowhere, but still she finished with 7:10, which is the second fastest of the season, and, you know, one of the fastest times in the world. But it was just one of those races where it was over before it began. Oh,
so there we go.
She's smiling. She's happy.
So 3 of the 4 who are on the presentation podium. And so on the left of the shot, Jarrett Eaton, who the world indoor silver medalist, he went with us right at the start of the day, disqualified for a full start in Heat 1 earlier on, so he didn't get to celebrate it with a victory here this evening. But he's always a smiley character, he's a boisterous character, he enjoys the attention, he enjoys, I guess, 60 metres being his specialist distance. Hasn't got a lot of major form over 110. He's certainly a 60-metre specialist, much like Andrew Pozzi. And whatever's gone on behind the scenes with regards to protests and things, Ortega is going to take his place in the final, we do understand, and that final will be a bit later on. So here's, in a second, what happened a little bit earlier on with the men's 60-metre hurdles. So this is Jarrett Eaton, third from the camera there, who very, very marginally full started, was shown the red card. As you can see, Jarrett Eaton didn't think he had, but our timing showed that he did. And Ortega, in the very next heat, in lane 3, by about the same distance, couldn't believe that he was shown the red card as well by the officials. He went over to the screens, and he was allowed to run. And he sat in his blocks and had a very safe start. This was what actually happened when the heats was run at the second attempt, and Ortega came through comfortably. But the protest from Jarrett Eaton that they basically infringed pretty much the same, but one of them was allowed to run, one of them wasn't. But now the carefully positioned looked like Jarrett Eaton's got fireworks coming out of his head. He's suddenly recovered his emotions now, isn't he?
Yeah, it's great to see him here. I mean, obviously we wanted to see him run, but if he would never actually turned up to this meeting, we wouldn't have got him to see him on the, the podium. But yeah, I just don't know what happened. We've not been given that information. I just don't know whether Ortega was just more experienced and just thought, I'll go and find the facts out. When Jarrett Eaton walked off, he was shaking his head like he didn't agree with the decision, but maybe he should just go to the officials and ask for a bit more of an explanation.
By the way, Christina Schwanitz didn't quite have the same moves as the other three there. She wasn't trying to get involved in the funny moves there on the right. But Jarrett Eaton, I guess there's no psychological advantage because, for example, he's not at the European indoors, so it's nothing to do with him against Ortega at the Europeans, because Jarrett Eaton is not obviously involved in that. I guess very frustrating when you prepare for a meeting, you don't get to run, but this is one of the perils of being a sprinter, is that this will happen occasionally. But I suppose, yeah, from that point of view, I suppose he's thinking, well, we pretty much did the same thing. We infringed what it looked like with the naked eye, a very similar amount. And Ortega, who has been his main rival this winter, got to run and he didn't. So I guess you can understand the frustration, but he looks like he's recovered anyway.
Yeah, he does. And I think this final is still going to be an absolute classic. We've got Pozzi, we've got Trammer, we've got Ortega, we've got Crickenden, we've got Mallet, we've got Trejovic. It's going to be a great one anyway. So, yeah, would have been great to have his name there as well. But we're definitely still looking forward to that final.
And what about Andrew Pozzi? Just before we move on, Andrew Pozzi, we touched on it earlier on, but he'd written off the indoors. He's the defending champion, of course, at the European indoors. He was saying, I'm not going to be there, I'm not going to Glasgow, I've got a quad injury. All of a sudden, from nowhere, he's named in the team and fitness pending, and here he is now in Dusseldorf with 2 races to potentially prove his fitness. Were you as surprised as everybody else that he was on that team?
Yeah, I was, actually. I think he's obviously just, kept in touch with the officials, Great Britain athletics officials, and said, maybe I've recovered a little bit quicker than I thought I would. His personal best is 7.43 seconds, so he was 7.70 there. A little bit rusty maybe, but great that he could come here, he could compete, he's warmed up, he's finished the race. Hopefully he's going to feel all right and he's going to take part in this final, and I think he'll, it's always subject to fitness, a decision like that. So I think tonight, just from the heat, he'll take that place, subject to fitness. Well, let's just see how he gets on in the final.
And we mentioned it earlier on with Richard. I know we've got a British team here with Richard Kilty, the defending champion, also being, I guess, given a special invitation by European Athletics. But as a rival, how do you want to be beating the best? If you're Ortega lining up in the 60 hurdles, what do you think when you see Pozzi is potentially going to be there, rather than one of the favourites for contesting for a gold medal is suddenly out? Do you want to beat the best to win the gold?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think he probably thinks, oh my goodness, I wasn't thinking that you were going to, be competing. He's obviously the reigning world indoor champion, but you do want to beat the best. That's what you train for. That's what you get up every day for. You train hard so you can push yourself to the limit. But yeah, it just depends whether he's got enough time now, Pozzi, to get himself. It's only 10 days time.
I mean, that is the key, isn't it? Ortega has had a big run of form over the course of the last few weeks as well. He's still got the final to come here this evening, which could be a big step forward. I guess Pozzi's performance in the final tonight will give us an idea. As you said earlier, he ran 7.70 in the heats. So the men's 60 hurdles will be certainly one of the interesting finals. We're just seeing the athletes in front of us starting to get ready for the men's 400. We're seeing Rojas continuing to dance merry jig, and we're seeing some of the athletes starting to warm up for the men's high jump as well. You just got a shot a moment ago of Naoto Tobe, who we absolutely loved watching in Karlsruhe right at the start of this tour, when he tore up the meeting record, he tore up the Japanese record, he absolutely hammered his personal best as well by 9 centimetres on the night. So anything near that performance this evening, and that will certainly give this Dusseldorf crowd something to celebrate for sure. And again, a really exciting name coming through in the high jump over the course of the last month or so.
Yeah, I think he was as surprised as anybody else. High jump, 9 centimetres. That's just absolutely ridiculous to add that. But he's done 3 competitions so far this year, and all of them have been, in excess of his old personal best. I think his worst he's done is 2:29, so he's flirting around 2:30 every single competition now.
He certainly is. We've got Mateusz Żybilko as well, the German athlete who has just been hinting at a little bit of form as well. The German champion at 2:26, just started to come back towards his lifetime best, which is 2:30. The bronze medalist from the World Indoor Championships in Birmingham last year, and as we say, the European champion from outdoors in Berlin. And he very much in the shake-up this evening as well, and he would delight the home crowd, I'm sure, as he continues to build up towards his European indoor campaign. Donald Thomas, we saw a shot of a moment ago as well, the former world champion. And Wang as well, who again saw him become the sort of second most talked about high jump Asian, if you like, with the Asian Games champion. But he's got it on in terms of, I guess, the challenge this evening, because Tobey is coming here as the man in form. The men's high jump starting to get towards its conclusion. That will give you a hint, by the way, how long the men's 60 hurdles final is going to be away, because the high jump bed, as you can probably see around about now, is smack in the middle of the 60-metre straight, Jenny.
Yeah, and that's going to add a different dilemma to these 60-metre hurdlers.
Running around a high jump bed.
They're obviously going to, have thought about their preparation, what they're going to do between the heat and the final, and all of that has really just been tore up now. Do they actually cool down? Do they take a little bit of rest? Do they take on more fluids? Do they, eat a little bit? So I'm not sure whether they've actually been given a start time, but there's certainly been quite a severe delay now between what they thought. They probably thought they'd be sat in the stands now watching the rest of the competition, but yeah, their evening's going to go on a little bit longer than they thought. That
podium's going to have to move as well, because that's right in the way. We're going to have people tripping over that as well in the 60 metres hurdle final. So podium at one end and the high jump bed at the other. 60 metre hurdles, extreme style. Back on the track. With the men's 400 metres, which will not be affected by the podium or the high jump bed. And we are building up to one of the most eagerly anticipated clashes of the evening. But first of all, this is Heat 1, as we meet Luguelin Santos of the Dominican Republic. The two favourites for the title, by the way, the two leaders will go in Heat 2, but this is the 2012 Olympic silver medalist from London, third at the weekend in Birmingham. Luguelin Santos. Oscar Hocios, the Spanish indoor champion, with that time of 46.37, his best. He goes in lane 3 here. Again, he's another one who started a little bit slowly this winter, but is again starting to chip away a few tenths off those times. And here's Luka Janezic of Slovenia, who finished second behind Nathan Strother in Birmingham at the weekend. Actually stumbled on the home straight, nearly went down, but did manage to hang on to second spot behind Nathan Strother. So this is the start. Let's remember, in the 400 metres, which is a scoring event, the times will be amalgamated across the two heats. The fastest time across the two heats takes the 10 points in the IAAF World Indoor Tour. Strother and Maslak in lanes 3 and 4 in the second heat. But first of all, Janezic, Hocios and Santos. 4-lane track here, remember, in Dusseldorf. We've still got 800 metres. Women's 800 to come. We've got the men's 1,500 metres to come, as well as the second of the men's 400 metres. Some exciting racing on this tight track. Thrills and spills guaranteed. So away first time. We see Janezic usually goes out pretty powerfully. He's a big strapping figure, and he's a hard man to get past as well. Don't forget, they run the first lap in lanes and then break towards the bell, and that is when the chase is usually on. And Janezic being challenged on his inside now by Hocios, and Hocios, as they come into the straight, look to have the advantage. Can he hold off Janezic at the break?
Yeah, it's tight, isn't it, at the break, and Hocios doesn't want to give his lead up, and he just absolutely puts his elbows out and really works hard down that back straight. Such an advantage if you can actually hold on to that inside lane.
So it's Hocios from Janezic, and now Luguelin Santos trying to challenge it from third position as well. But Hocios now has done his hard work. The power of Janezic, and Santos looking for running room down the outside as well. Hocios hangs on by a metre from Janezic. 46.97 for Oscar Hocios, half a second or so outside his performance from the weekend. A quizzical look from Hocios as he looks back to see the time, but he takes the victory.
It's quite a strange race, really. I don't think Janezic got out particularly well, and Hocios did really, really well. He got out that little bit quicker, but then Janezic really tried to get him at the break, to take that automatic lead, but he just really held on, Hocios, and Santos was just off the pace. We do know that he's a slow starter. Normally he'd find a little bit in the closing stages, but yeah, Hocios just held on, gritting his teeth there all the way to line, and just coming in just under 47 seconds.
Yeah, I think Janezic could sense that Hocios was tying up, but the line just came in time, and you can see the facial expressions from these guys as they come down the straight. You can also see the size and the power of Janezic there as well, who is, by the way, only 23, so he's another one who's going to be around, I think, for a few years to come. rising star of Slovenia. Second here last year, and at the moment, second in that heat anyway. We'll wait and see how his times work out over the amalgamation of the two heats. Confirmation there of that result, 46.96, the winning time for Hasios from Janasic and Santos. So we mentioned the battle for the overall standings. Well, Nathan Strother with 30 points and Pavel Mazlak with 20 will contest this second heat. Those points at the moment for Hasios and Janasic almost gone into live scoring, isn't it? Because after that first heat, so Strother against Mazlak. Now, this is where the countback situation comes into clarification, Jen, because if Mazlak wins this race, he wins the title. He takes 10 points. It draws him level with Strother on 30, but their best performances of the season, Mazlak 46.19, Strother 46.21. So 200th of a second has put Mazlak in the box seat here.
Very close, isn't it? And I actually don't think this track is as fast as some of the other tracks. It's very, very tight bends. We just saw, you know, that race just getting won in just under 47 seconds. I'm sure this race will be a little bit quicker, but I'm not sure whether they'll actually go as fast as 46.19 seconds. So Mazlak has really got everything to play for, really. If he can take the victory, I think he'll actually take the Tour title.
And of course, the other thing worth pointing out is he's also got to run faster than Hasios, 46.96, to win this, because he'll only get 10 points if he's the fastest across the two heats as well. He needs 10 points to deny Strother the title. So Mazlak winning this in faster than 46.96 is the only thing that can deny Nathan Strother winning the title here. Now, two athletes at the not differing ends of their career, but certainly separated by a few years. Mazlak with his host of global titles, 3 world indoor titles, 3 European indoor titles. Nathan Strother, in terms of major champs, not a lot on his record. He's up and coming.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed watching him this indoor season. He's competed extensively in Boston, in Toran, Madrid and Birmingham, and now he's in Dusseldorf, so 5 out of 5 that he's competed in, and we've really seen him just come into his own. He's not actually lost a race. He was second in Toran, but that was because he was in a different race to Mazlak, so he's undefeated so far indoors, and this is just a really good clash that we've been waiting for all season.
Certainly is. Mazlak is the defending world indoor champion on the Tour from 2 years ago, when this was last a scoring event, and it's set up nicely. In terms of the other athletes in the field, by the way, they've got 2 athletes who are a good second down on times inside them as well. So really the 3 guys who ran in the first heat, I guess, are the next best behind Mazlak and Strother, but no real surprise to see the way they've seeded these heats. Yeah,
I think that just really allows those athletes who are going for times to get a very good comparative competition. Lanes 3 and 4 are the best lanes here on this track, so it's great that the 4 main protagonists have all been given the same opportunity.
So we're seeing some of the high jump athletes, which are just going through their final preparations. As we see the start list then, that is how the lineup is formed for this second final of the men's 400 metres. As far as we gather, Nathan Strother, I think, was given the choice of the outside lanes as the current Tour leader, and he chose lane 3, which isn't always, over this distance, the obvious, is it? We'll come back to that in a sec, Jen, because let's meet Rafał Amelko, who took the Polish silver medal behind Karol Zalewski at the weekend, 47.12, European indoor silver medalist in 2017. He'll be looking to be the medal shake-up again in Glasgow. So he will go off lane 1. Local favourite here, the German champion. He ran a PB, 47.18. Torben Juncker, for the European under-23 relay medalist as well. And then we come to the 2 big guns trying to battle out the title. Nathan Strother, winner in Toran, winner in Madrid, winner in Birmingham. He's got the maximum 30 points. Can he be denied this title over 2 laps by this man, the most experienced and decorated indoor 400-metre runner of recent times, Pavel Mazlak. Winner in Karlsruhe, winner in Toran. He needs to win in Dusseldorf to take the overall title. He tuned up for this, Jen, by taking the silver medal over 60 metres in the Polish Championships at the weekend.
Well, we know his speed's there then. Early season, he wasn't, you know, his normal characteristic great starter. I actually remember him watching him in a race in Norway against Warholm, and he, you know, only ran 47.5 seconds. Every race he's ran, he's got quicker. He's done some 300 metres. He's competed in the national champs, like you said, over 60. So we're hoping that he can get out, and I think this might be the key.
We've got a whisper because in our commentary position here, we are about 5 meters from Pavel Maslak. He's just in front of us here. We're just behind those silver barriers you can see there in the background. It's about as close as I've ever been to an athlete, I think, while commentating. But Maslak takes his blocks, has to win in 46.96 or less, or this man is the overall title winner. So a straight fight over 2 laps. Maslak has the outside lane. Nathan Strother came on strongly in Birmingham to take it on the final lap, and he looks like he's going to be happy just to sit in and let Maslak do the running in the early stages here, and then again use that strength in the second half of the race. But Strother's leaving himself a bit to do here.
This is what he does, and he normally does come on strong the second half of the race, but Maslak has got a couple of metres on him there at the bell. 22.18 seconds, faster than the last heat, but again, not as fast as we've actually seen him run at some points during this indoor season.
So Maslak's racecraft will come into it here as well, but Strother at the moment looks like he's got the strength. Don't forget, still plenty of time for things to change over the home straight. It's these two fighting out the IAAF World Indoor title down the home straight, and it's the American Nathan Strother who takes it. He's off to the World Indoors in China, 46.49, his 4th win of the IAAF World Indoor Tour, and the title is his.
Yeah, it was just definitely a race of 2 halves, wasn't it? You know, he just about got himself into second position at the bell, and his real good strength is down the back straight, his last 150 metres. Completely different race indoors to outdoors, of course. Maslak just had to take advantage of that speed that he's got, that speed of turn of speed that he's got in those legs. As you said, you know, he's been doing 60 metres at the weekend, and I'm sure that would have been in preparation for this race.
He doesn't lose many, Pavel Maslak, that is for sure. This season, over 400 metres. He's only been beaten once until now. But here, I mean, we talked about Strother biding his time there. At that point, I mean, it was looking like he'd left himself a bit to do, but Maslak, traditionally very strong, but here Strother just too strong.
Yeah, Strother's actually got some decent experience over 800 metres as well, so I think this is really, you know, he's more of a 400 metre, 800 metre runner compared to Maslak, who spent a lot of his junior career running 200 metres as well. So yeah, definitely different ends of the spectrum, but they meet together in the 400 metres, and a great event. We expected it to be great, and you know, Strother fully deserves to win the IAAF World Indoor Tour Series.
Yeah, and brilliant. It was a true run race. The two guys straightening up for home, almost side by side. The title was decided, what, over the last, I don't know, 70 metres or so, which was fantastic. And of course, I guess the challenge for someone like Strother now is that Maslak has really been restricted to his best form indoors. I guess for Strother now, he's starting to prove himself indoors. Can he translate that outdoors?
Yeah, is a name that we've just learnt this indoor season, and it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, you know, as an American athlete, it's very hard to even get on their team, but, you know, he is the IAAF World Indoor Champion. Tour champion. He's got that ticket to the World Indoors next year, so he will be in a US vest this time next year.
Exactly, and there are the overall standings then after the confirmed results. Strother with those 10 points again today. Doesn't add to the 30. Maximum is the 30, of course, from his best 3 performances across the tour. Takes it from Maslak. Well, we've seen the athletes warming up. We saw some of the performances from Naoto Tobey in Karlsruhe just there, and this is how it stands going into this. Now, as you can see, Ivaniuk isn't here, so Tobey has the title already. Well, we would like to see some more fireworks from Naoto Tobey, and not just when he comes out of the entrance hall in a moment. First of all, though, we see one of the up-and-coming German high jumpers, Falk Wendrich. Silver in the German Championships and a lifetime best of 2:26 in Leipzig at the weekend. Luis Castro of Puerto Rico, 2:26 also this year. He jumped 2:23 at Birmingham in the weekend. Jazzy kit, the Puerto Rican gear. This is the 2007 world champion from Osaka, the Bahamian Donald Thomas, who again has been competing regularly on this European circuit. From Mexico, Edgar Rivera. Again, he's had a couple of meetings in the Czech Republic. He's finished second in his national championships with 2:26. Wang of China, the Asian Games winner last year. Beaten by Tobey in Karlsruhe when he jumped 2:31, which he might have thought equaling his lifetime best would be enough, but Tobey had other ideas. There'll be a huge reception for this man the European champion, Matthias Jibilko of Germany, crowned again their national champion at the weekend, bronze medalist in the World Indoors last year. A 2:30 performer at his best. He's jumped 2:26. And this is the man of the moment, really. Last man out, Naoto Tobei, the Tour winner. The fireworks are already going off for him. Japanese record, world lead, personal best, 2:35 in Karlsruhe. More German fireworks tonight from Naoto Tobei, we wonder. So those are your 7 for the men's high jump. As we say, Tour title already decided, but again, Tobei against Jibilko as well. I think that he'll be keen in front of his German crowd here, and can we see Wang produce some of that form to get him up towards 2:31 as well. That Puerto Rican kit really is jazzy, isn't it? That's something else, that. I think I heard the commentators the weekend in Birmingham referring to that, and I didn't actually see the TV pictures of it, but I've seen it now. So here's our first competitor of the high jump, and this is Falk Vendrich, and the height is at 2.10 m, the opening bar here. And Vendrich is a 2:26 performer. So actually these competitors here on lifetime best are separated by 9 centimetres, so a pretty evenly matched field.
Yeah, it is. It's basically Toby's personal best before before he did that 2:35. So some really great competitors, and again, you know, we're seeing that strategy comes into that.
Confidence boosting clearance for Vendrich at 2:10. Wang has passed at the opening height through to 2:15, and Tobei is going to come in at 2.20 m. Everybody else is going to have a crack at 2.10 m. And again, for the likes of Jibilko, off to the European indoors to try and improve on his performance from a couple of years ago. 7th actually in 2017 in Belgrade. No European indoors for Luis Castro of Puerto Rico. 2:26 set this year actually. A national record as well for Puerto Rico. Certainly he looks like he's going to enjoy his night, however it goes, I think. His first attempt at 2.10 m. Close to it, didn't he? But got over. Didn't give it a wobble.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's different how all the high jumpers like different things. I was in Birmingham at the weekend, and it's the first time in a competition where I've actually seen a competitor ask the crowd to be quiet. So that's in contrast to what we've just seen Castro ask for.
We've seen it a few times. Donald Thomas certainly isn't asking them to be quiet. Here he goes. When he went to the World Relays in the Bahamas, we'll know that wasn't quiet, or watched it on the telly as Donald Thomas sails over 2:10 as well. So this is all good stuff so far. 3 clear for our competitors at 2.10 m. That's not a red flag for Donald Thomas, by the way. That's just a red flag to hold the next competitor. In case you were thinking, what's wrong with that? Next to go, Edgar Rivera. No one wants to be the first one to knock a bar off today. So Edgar Rivera, who's a 2:30 jumper at his best. World Championship 4th placer from London 2017, Rivera. So again, a major championship proven performer. Well clear. Mops his brow. Rivera. Job done at the opening height for him. If you're tuning in thinking, I haven't seen the men's 60-metre hurdles final yet, a reminder, that was delayed due to a protest and a couple of false starts earlier on involving Jarrett Eaton and Orlando Ortega. And as far as we understand at the moment, Ortega will be taking his place in the final, but that final has been delayed at the end of the programme this evening, basically because, as well as that protest, as we see Jibilko, the European champion, his opening height, 2:10. I think he's the first man to give it a little bit of a nudge, but it did stay on.
Yeah, it did stay on, and I'm sure the home crowd don't want to see any nudges. They want to see some clearances, and sometimes it's just, you know, getting that first bar cleared.
For the Bayer Leverkusen club, of course, a well-renowned club in a number of sports, which is about 40 minutes or so from here, so he's pretty much a local. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt of being a local, I think. Nobody from Dusseldorf itself in the field this evening. So everyone clear who was going to attempt 2.10 m, so the bar will go up to 2.15 m now, with Wang of China due to come in at that height as well. So still left on the track, by the way, this evening we have the women's 800 metres final to come. We have men's 1500 metres final. Just a reminder that it was built to have all three Ingebrigtsens in that one. We have Jakob, we have Philip, we don't have Henrik Ingebrigtsen, who hasn't started his season yet, and he won't be starting it here this evening. But we have Samuel Tefera, the world record holder indoors from that fantastic performance at the weekend. And of course, we shouldn't overlook, and he has been overlooked a little bit in some of the media leading into this, Bethel Bergen, who is the World Indoor Tour leader, actually, knows that a win will secure him the title. As we see, 2:15, proving no problem for Falk Vendrich of Germany again. So the men high jump, and they do have the centre of the arena here. As we said, they're right on the 60-metre track. The focus is on them. So we mentioned on the track, the women's 800 metres. This is how things stand going into the final event here this evening. Raven Rogers not here. Alemu is, Oscar Clark is, Lindsay Sharp is. And these are the athletes. First of all, we meet Rebecca Ackers, who's a 2:07 runner. This will be experience for her, 28 years of age, but certainly mixing it here with some of the best. She set that lifetime best this year, the German athlete. Out of lane 1. Sharing lane 2, the very experienced Sanne Wolters Verstegen, who took the silver medal at the Dutch Championships over 1500 at the week. Also off the back of a performance at Birmingham over 800 metres. Drawn 3, Lindsay Sharp of Great Britain, European champion in 2012, European silver medalist in 2014. When he placed 5th in the recent British Indoor Championships, though, didn't make the team for Glasgow. Liga Vel of Latvia, national record holder and personal best already this winter at 800 and 1000. This is a lady who's right in the mix to take the title, Shalane Oscan-Clark. Forgot to stop for her fireworks moment, but there might be fireworks from her on the track. A front runner who likes to get in front and not be passed. Shalane Oscan-Clark in no hurry at the moment. Habitam Alemu, she's in a hurry to get out there to the start line. The Ethiopian national record holder, she knows that a win for her is the IAAF World Indoor title. 2 minutes in her 2 runs already this year. Sofia Anui of Poland took the Polish title at the weekend over 15. European silver medalist over that distance as well. European indoor bronze medalist over the 1500-metre distance as well. That the full lineup then. Athletes sharing lanes, only 4 lanes, remember. So this, Jenny Meadows, 7 athletes, 4 lanes. This is going to get tight.
It is, and all the girls are pretty similarly ranked, as you can see. You know, 159 up to, you know, 2 flat, 2 girls running 2-1, and then a 2-2 and a 2-3. Quite a lot of these girls outdoors are sub 2-minute performers. So yeah, I think space is crucial in this race, and tactics as well. This race, we're actually going without a pacemaker. It's going to be a true run race. All is decided on the result of this race for the overall IAAF World Indoor Tour winner. So we look forward to a good race.
So Alemu and Oscan-Clark, the 2 really to keep an eye on. They both have 10 points. Broad IAAF World Indoor Tour. Shalane Oscan-Clark is notoriously hard to get past if she gets herself to the front. Lindsay Sharp knows that for sure, and she is shadowing Oscan-Clark. The very early stages. Also Velvera of Latvia, and Alemu knows that she needs to stick pretty close to Oscan-Clark as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether Velvera put herself there because she wanted to, or she's just got herself in that position. Shalane Oscan-Clark just sitting on her shoulder. Alemu will know Shalane Oscan-Clark. She'll know that she can't give her too much of an advantage. And just as I say that, she passes her. 29 seconds for the first 200 metres. It's average. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. I don't think we're going to see an amazing time. But the girls are settled between. Velvera seems to have adopted now. In 2nd position, Oscan-Clark 3rd, Sharp following, and the strong finish in Anui in 5th position. We
shouldn't forget that Alemu, of course, beat Laura Muir in the opening meeting of this tour over the 800-metre distance as well in Karlsruhe. So it's Velvera as they come through the halfway point in 59.16 from Alemu, Oscan-Clark and Sharp.
Yeah, 30 seconds for that second 200 metres, so 29, followed by a 30. I'm expecting Alamu at some point to take the lead. I think it'll be in the next 100 metres or so. Shalane Ruskin-Clark is just tracking Alamu. She knows not to give her too much space, and I really think this title will be decided between Alamu and Shalane Ruskin-Clark in this next 200-metre circuit.
Well, just 4 days ago, Shalane Ruskin-Clark won in Birmingham. Can she repeat a similar performance here as Alamu now has seen enough and strikes the front? Now Ruskin-Clark is going to have to do it from behind here if she wants to get involved in this. It's Habitu Alamu of Ethiopia, who with 200 metres to go is striding out towards the IAAF World Indoor title. But now Ruskin-Clark is battling on. Velvera in second, though, is proving hard to pass at the moment. Sharp in fourth, also closing. Ruskin-Clark now with less than 100 metres still to go. Alamu extending already sub 2 minutes twice this year. It's going to be too much for Ruskin-Clark to do down the home straight. An impressive performance from the Ethiopian Habitu Alamu, just outside 2 minutes, but it's job done. She is the 800 metres IAAF World Indoor Tour title winner.
Yeah, she ran it incredibly well, didn't she? Valverde almost acted like a pacemaker, and actually she ran incredibly well herself. But Alamu is a 1:56.7 second 800-metre runner outdoors. She's a sub-15, 4-minute 1,500-metre athlete as well. She really is the quality of that race, and you know, I did expect her to maybe take the title. Shalane Ruskin-Clark gave her a really good run, but just the strength, that 1,500-metre strength, paid off on that last 200-metre circuit.
2 minutes, 0.70, the confirmed winning time for Habitam Alamu, who won in Torun, and has her second victory here as we see a repeat of the last lap. Now Ruskin-Clark at the bell found herself 2 metres down, and Velvera, I mean, she ran a good race for a long way. She did.
She, you know, really battled with Shalane Ruskin-Clark down that back straight. She held her home for 700 metres. She's a 400-metre hurdler, more known outdoors. Shalane Ruskin-Clark just gave Alamu a little bit too much, you know, respect there maybe, but Alamu, nothing to be taken away from her. She was running away with all from it, you know, the last 50 metres, and the race was really on behind her. Shalane Ruskin-Clark driving all the way to the line to get that second position, and Sofia Nui, actually, the Polish athlete, amazing over cross country. She's great over 1,500 metres. She came through really, really fast towards the end of that race as well.
So Alamu took it 2 minutes, 0.70. Ruskin-Clark 2:02.25 in second. Velvera held on for third, 2:02.28. And Anui 2:02.39 with that fast finish that Jenny Meadows refers to. So it's an Ethiopian win in the women's 8 rather, the men's 15 to come, as we see a clearance in the high jump for Zbilko. In the background there, that's his first attempt at 2 metres 20. Confirmation of those results, and a PB. We said that Akers down the end would benefit from the experience there, and she broke 2:07 for the first time, and that's how things ended up on the World Indoor Tour. Overall, Alamu with that wild card to the World Indoors and $20,000. Here's the high jump man of the moment, Naoto Tobei of Japan. This is 2 metres 20, first attempt.
Yeah, just knocked it off there, didn't he? It looked like he had the height, and it's one of those where sometimes that would stay on. You know, he was getting off the mat and he almost looked back and he just saw that it had just fallen. So yeah, I've seen those stay on before, but yeah, unfortunately, first time, didn't clear that first time. Have to go again.
So on the track, we still have the men's 1,500 metres to come, by the way. That's due off in the next few minutes. Athletes will be out shortly, but men's 60-metre hurdles final will follow the high jump, by the way, at the conclusion of the high jump. This is Falk Vendrich, second attempt. 2 metres 20 for the German, and he's over. So again, looking to use that to propel himself potentially towards a new lifetime best performance. So 2 track events left, 2 eagerly awaited finals. Remember, the men's 60-metre hurdles tour title is already decided to Jarrett Eaton. He's already received his flowers and his medal. Probably not received his $20,000 yet, but there's a big pot of cash underneath the stand somewhere, but I don't think there is. As we see the crowd then, the 1,500 metres though really is what a lot of people have come to see this evening. Can it be an Ethiopian double with Tefera? Now then, Naoto Tobei, 2 metres 20. Second attempt here. Not used to failing too many bars at this sort of height in the form he's been in this winter. Oh, 2 failures for Tobei at 2:20. He gave him the big build-up. Hope he's not going to leave us with egg on our face.
Even the mascot's disappointed in the background, can you see?
I saw the double teapot on for the mascot there, the PSD Bank mascot. So Tobey, one more attempt at 2:20. It's time on the track for the men's 1500 metres. That is how it stands. We have Bergen here, we have Tefera here, we have Vincent Kibet here as well, all to play for. Well, of course, at the weekend, Samuel Tefera, 3:31.04, breaking that 22-year-old record from Hisham El Garouj. With this performance, he saw off Kejelcha, who many people thought might be the man to break the world record. It was Tefera who took it. He didn't quite realise it. It was a scintillating performance from Tefera. Today he's got this man up against him, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Two teenagers going head-to-head.
I feel okay. My shape's good and training's been going really well. And I'm more prepared for this race than I was for my season opener a couple of weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to the race today, and we'll see how fast I can do.
So some thoughts there from Jakob Ingebrigtsen, speaking at the race hotel a little bit earlier on. Tobey clear, by the way, in the high jump, third attempt, so his competition still alive at 2:20. As we meet the athletes then for this men's 1500 metres. Two pacemakers here. That's the first of them coming out. Adam Szywiński, the Polish athlete, 30 years of age. This is the other one, the pacemaker, if you like, Bram Som, the Dutchman, 39 years old today. He's already paced 2 world records in the last 4 or 5 days, Bram Som. Drawn 1, this is Jan Frisch, 4 times the national champion of the Czech Republic, including recently in the 3,000 metres. Drawn 2, Ismail Debrani, European Championship finalist last year. Broken 3:40 for the first time this year over 1500 metres. Drawn 3, Sam Parsons, who has dual nationality. USA on the caption there. He's actually in the German team for the European Indoor Championships coming up. He has a German mother. Vincent Kibet, not in the hunt for the overall tour title, but he could throw a spanner in the works if he performs to his best here. Drawn 4. The first of the Ingebrigtsens. This is the middle of the 3 brothers. Philip Ingebrigtsen, the World Championship bronze medalist in 2017. European champion in 2016. A recent PB over 3,000 metres. And then his teenage brother, the 18-year-old double European champion from Berlin, 1,500 and 5,000 metres. Officially the fastest under 20 in the world, with a run of 3:36.21, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. This is the man currently at the top of the standings, Bethel Bergen of Kenya, the defending World Indoor Tour champion as well. He's officially the man they've got to get past to take the title, at least in the case of this man, the new World Indoor record holder with that time of 3:31.04, Samuel Tefera, Ethiopia. Can he possibly replicate anything like that just 4 days on from such an impressive performance? Stacked field, our penultimate track event. There's the full list. We're buzzing for this one, Jenny Meadows.
Yeah, it's the highlight of the evening, isn't it? To see what Tefera did just 4 days ago in Birmingham. You know, that race was set up for Kejelcha, and he almost just shadowed him, you know, almost got a double draft, the pacemaker plus Kejelcha, and he just, you know, really struck on the back straight and you know, stole the world record away from Kejelcha. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do here this evening.
So reminder in the high jump, which we'll keep an eye on, Tobey clear, third attempt at 2:20, bar's gone up to 2:25. So then, Bram Som, the pacemaker, on the outside, a professional pacemaker. He's been doing it since 2013. He paced Tefera to that world record in Birmingham at the weekend. Then on Sunday, he paced the new 5-kilometre road world record for Julien Wonders in Monaco. He went on to complete the 5K race himself, did Bram Som, and here he is 4 days later on his 39th birthday with the new world record holder alongside him. Fascinating clash. Tefera 19, Jakob Ingebrigtsen 18. 7.5 laps of the track. We should mention Bethel Bergen, who's clearly trying to get himself off the inside in the very early stages. He's the one, remember, who leads the standings. If he wins the race, he takes the title. But Bram Som leading them out in the very early stages, and Tefera sticking pretty close by. Jakob Ingebrigtsen at the moment about 3 from the back.
Yeah, looking at what they asked the pacemakers to do, I think we should know that. I don't think they're going for the world record pace. The pace that they've asked is a little bit slower than what we saw in Birmingham at the weekend. That said, it's very, very respectable. It could get Jakob Ingebrigtsen a new world junior record. They're looking for about 56.5 seconds at 400 metres, 154 at 8 and 223 at 1,000 metres, which would bring them in 2 to 3 seconds slower than what we saw them run in Birmingham.
So the two pacemakers at the front of the field. Bram Som from Adam Shavinsky. Then comes Tefera just in behind them as they make their way down the back straight. It's Vincent Kibet in fourth, then Philip Ingebrigtsen, then Bethel Bergen, then Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And those five at the moment tracking in behind the two pacemakers as they come round. And this time they will see 5 laps to go, just completing 500 metres.
Yeah, Bram Som's done his job correctly, 56.1 seconds, just a little bit faster than asked. Really good to see Tefera, though, on the back of the two pacemakers here. He's actually just showing, you know, playing his cards out. He's trying to win this race. He's actually trying to run a decent time at the same time. Really, really interesting to see how this field is strung out so quickly.
Well, Tefera is unbeaten indoors in 6 races in his career. He actually lost his most recent race to Jakob Ingebrigtsen. That was in Tampere last year in the World Under-20 Championships when Tefera only finished 5th. Jakob Ingebrigtsen finished 2nd behind George Manengoy. They go through with 800 metres remaining. Bram Som will step aside now and Shavinsky will be left with the pacemaking duties, but Tefera is right on his shoulder. It's Kibet in 3rd place, then Philip Ingebrigtsen followed by Jakob, and Bethel Bergen, remember, has to win to guarantee the indoor tour title.
Yeah, I think Tefera's come here with a game plan to run quick. He knows he can run faster than anybody else, not just in this race, but in history. And he really is hanging on the back of the second pacemaker now. He will be aware of the Ingebrigtsen, of Jakob and of Philip. And Jakob actually beat him, as you said, Chris, in Tampere at the World Juniors last year. So if it was a close run race and more of a tactical race, maybe Tefera, you know, he is the fastest guy in history. Maybe he doesn't fancy himself in a tactical race. But here we are now, just coming up with 2 laps to go.
So the pacemakers are gone, and now it's down to the superstars to fight it out, and they're 1 and 2 at the moment. The 2 fastest teenagers in the world over 1,500 metres. Samuel Tefera leads from Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Philip Ingebrigtsen's in 3rd. Bethel Bergen in 4th. The Tefera win guarantees him the tour title. Don't forget, as they go down the back straight, these 3 have gone away slightly. Tefera with that hard race in his legs from 4 days ago. Jakob Ingebrigtsen relatively fresh from a training stint in South Africa and a good run in his domestic Norwegian competitions as well, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen starts to close on Tefera as they come down to take the bell.
The confidence on Jakob Ingebrigtsen here, just 18 years of old, on the shoulder of the new world indoor record holder. And this race is not, you know, not going to go, it's going to go down to all the way to the wire, sorry. Tefera is just holding on, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen with 100 metres to go.
So Jakob Ingebrigtsen moves to within striking distance of the world indoor record holder. He moves out into lane 2 to strike down the outside. The power of Ingebrigtsen, the pace of Tefera, and it's the Norwegian who will come out on top. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, 3:36.02. It's a meeting record for the Norwegian. It is also a new world junior record as well. 3:36.02 for the 18-year-old, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen carves his name yet again into the history books.
Chris, I was literally lost for words on that last lap. I was just watching, you know, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and, you know, he would have watched the race in Birmingham at the weekend, and I read a quote by him, and people said, are you worried about what time, you know, Tefera's ran? And he said, well, no, because it was a similar time to what the world record was anyway. It was just 1400 faster, and that's the goal that I've got. That's the time I've had in my head. So it definitely shows that, you know, he's looking for world records in his career as well, and, you know, what a great tactician.
Confirmation, it's a variety of things for Jakob Ingebrigtsen, but it actually beats the previous best time set by Tefera, which was naturally ratified of 3:36.05. Jakob Ingebrigtsen's previous best was 3:36.21 over this distance. That was still waiting to be ratified as a World Under-20 record, but 3:36.02 rounded down for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. It's obviously a Norwegian record as well, as amongst a whole host of other things. A lifetime best for Philip Ingebrigtsen, we should say, as well over 1,500 metres as well, as he finished in 3:38.62. And Tefera running, 5.3 seconds slower than Wednesday. Of course, today wasn't necessarily all about the time. It was about the win, and where Tefera struck past Kjelče in Birmingham, Jakob Ingebrigtsen pretty much almost the same spot here, although once it came out of the home straight, you did really feel it was probably only going to be one winner.
Yeah, you did. I think, you know, Tefera basically managed to just, just not hold him off at the end. I think definitely, that's 2 wins that Jakob's got over Tefera in the last 2 races. That was World Junior Championships. Tefera finished in 5th position, even though he's the world indoor champion. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, 18 years of age. He's the best of the 3 brothers now, and it was so nice to see Philip, celebrating with him, patting him on the back, and just what a future this kid's got.
Well, how comfortable you look in his facials there at the end. I mean, he's just out-sprinted the new world indoor record holder. He's just set a new world under-20 record as well, and he just looks like he could go around again.
He does. I think he actually expected to. I think Tefera came here with pressure. He had to win. Everyone's been talking about him the last few days. He went into the Bergen meeting, definitely the underdog. Kajelka was the one who had everyone, expecting things of him, and what a great race.
So let's wrap that all up then. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the NR you can see there is the national record, but of course the fastest time by an under-20 athlete over 1,500 metres, running faster than Tefera did last year when he was still an under-20. Tefera 3:36.34, Philip Ingebrigtsen there in Bethel Bergen down the field in 6th place overall. This is what it's done to the overall standings. Tefera, he might not have won tonight, but he has, by virtue of having a 3-point bonus from his win at Birmingham from that world record as well, he has taken the overall title. So some consolation for Tefera, but it's been a pretty handy few days for him. But Ingebrigtsen with the bragging rights this time around. So they're getting excited in the high jump here. 3rd attempt for Vendrich coming up of Germany in the arena, which he's just failed, unfortunately. 2:25, but Jakob Ingebrigtsen, again, a bit like the 400 where it came down to Maslach against Strother in the home straight, side by side. It was great to see, I guess, from the drama point of view and how it was all scripted, that it would be Tefera and Jakob Ingebrigtsen side by side as they swung for home.
Yeah, that race promised so much, didn't it? And it definitely delivered. The crowd are really enjoying this. He's just such a championship racer. When it comes down to, running for a time, obviously we know what, Tefera can do, but what a great race it was, and that's what we wanted to see here this evening.
Donald Thomas crashes out of the high jump, 3 failures at 2 metres and 25, so just the clearance at 2:20 on his record has him in 7th place. The leader at the moment with a clean sheet is Puerto Rico's Luis Castro with the Jazzy gear. He has 4 successive clearances, as Thomas certainly wasn't close to clearing that. He is the 2nd man to exit the competition. We've also lost Vendrich with 3 failures at 2:25, but everybody else has cleared 2:25. Tobey, 2nd time of asking. Wang, 3 successive clearances. Jabilko, 4 successive clearances. Castro, 4 successive clearances, this man. And at the moment, he shares the lead with Wang and with Jabilko. And the bar's gone up to 2 metres and 28, which for Castro would be a new indoor lifetime best. He's only jumped 2:26 previously. But the way he's sailed over 4 so far, you would bet against him setting himself a new lifetime indoor best here, the man from Puerto Rico. You can actually hear him shouting "Come on" through our headphones in the arena here across he's probably, I don't know, 70 or 80 metres away from us, but you can hear him in real time here through our noise-cancelling headphones shouting "Come on" to the crowd as Castro Rivera of Puerto Rico challenges a new lifetime best of 2:28. Not this time, 2 more. Rivera of Mexico to go next. Who again has been on a little bit of a European tour himself. He's had a couple of 3 meetings, in fact, in the Czech Republic, best of which saw him produce 2:27 as we see a whole host away from that. Was he Castro Rivera? Got his shoulders and back over it, just clipped it with his hamstrings as he came over. Not sure what that international tic-tac sign there is for high jump.
And he was waiting, actually. He was waiting. He was watching the screen. He wanted to actually see the playback. He wanted to get some instant, recognition of what he'd done wrong in that jump. So, he kind of nodded his head, saw what he'd done wrong, and got 2 more attempts as he makes his way back.
High jump is centre stage at the moment, apart from the 60 hurdles final, which can't start until this is finished. Everything else is done and dusted. So Rivera of Mexico stuttered on his run up there and never really looked like he was going to get over that, and didn't.
Yeah, he took off quite a way before the bar, and yeah, wasn't the best of attempts. He just goes over to get a little bit of feedback from his coach.
So Rivera, 2:28 first time failure. I haven't had a chance to see too much of Wang live so far, the Asian champion, who finished 6th at the World Indoor Championships in Birmingham last year. Again, the World Indoors are in his native China next year, so he would love to be a part of that, I'm sure. He's taking on here 2 meters 28 for the first time. Wang. Nope. 2:31 he cleared in Karlsruhe, which, as we said, would often be enough to win, but he caught Tobey on a good day.
Yeah, he did. He's cleared 2:30 and 2:31 so far during this indoor season in 2019. But he'll have to take another attempt at 2:28 here.
So, Żybilko of Germany, clean sheet so far, 2:28, European champion. 2:26 at the weekend to take the German title on countback. Most of the 1,500 crowd here inside the Arena Sport Park Hall in Dusseldorf, behind the man from Leverkusen. Żybilko, 2:28, first time. Work to do there for him. That's his first failure of the competition. And again, the way the things have panned out, I know an unscheduled delay in terms of the hurdles with that those disqualifications earlier on, but it does give that literally centre stage to these field events.
Yeah, and it's great for them, isn't it? You know, we've only got 7 competitors in this event. 2:28, though, this really seems to be the bar that's finding a lot of these competitors out.
Well, you might be able to see behind Tobey that the presentation podium is gone for now, which means that the 60-metre hurdles won't be too far away. It will be happening, the final, after this high jump has been completed. This is Naoto Tobey, already the Tour champion. 2 meters and 28. His first attempt. No one clear yet. Oh, that wasn't far away from Tobey. We actually had to kick him out of a car yesterday, Jen, didn't we? He's about 6'5". You're about, what, you 5'2", something like that? And you kicked him out of a... He got into the wrong transport from the venue, and we had to extract him. He was very polite, though, wasn't he? Very polite, yeah. I felt a bit bad. The world leader had to remove himself from a bit of transport, but anyway, let's see it again here. Pretty close, just with his heels, wasn't it? Knocked it off.
Yeah, he was a bit frustrated there. You could actually see, you know, he kind of did a bit of a mannerism, thinking, you know, I thought I was over it, but yeah, he'll have to have another attempt at that.
So the national record holder of Puerto Rico, Luis Castro, going for a new lifetime best here. It's his second attempt at 2 meters and 28. Oh, that's close as well. That's 2 in a row. He was telling everyone to calm down after his first attempt. That was closer still.
Yeah, he knows it, doesn't he? And again, he's looking at the screen, he's waiting for the replay. He's trying to get some instant feedback for himself. He's obviously a student of the sport. He wants to know, what did I do? Where did I actually plant my foot? What hit it? And he looks and, you know, he's given a few signals, a few minor adjustments. That's all it takes to get over this bar. He knows he's in great shape. First time clearance is up to 2:28.
Our superb replay team and the trucks outside here, the likes of Mark and Charles and Grant, giving him what he needed there, that is for sure. He got it on the big screen here, and he immediately turned around to his coach in the stand and showed him some sort of hand signal, which meant he knew what was wrong. Rivera of Mexico, 2 meters and 28 here, second attempt. This will be a season's best. Again, it's not close. His run-up doesn't convince. He just seems to be a little bit, I don't know, as he approaches the bed, he just seems to go to very short, sort of snappy strides, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's looking again at his coach. He's done this every single jump. He's walked over. His coach is trying to give him some information, but it just doesn't look like it's working for him here this evening.
Of course, everybody does things differently. We're seeing athletes approaching from different sides of their bed, different take-off legs and things, but just a choppy stride, isn't it, from Rivera as he approaches the bed. He's only got 1 attempt left at that height. Wang, 2:28. He's got 2 left. The man from Beijing, as we say, Nanjing will host the World Indoors, which will, all being well, have Naoto Tobey in it. He's already won the title here, which means that he will be going as a wild card. And Wang, again, that isn't close for Wang, so he has got plenty to think about for his final attempt as well. 4th meeting of his little European tour, as well, as we say, before he heads back. And again, no global championships for these athletes. I mean, he's knocked that off with his leading arm, isn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't a good clearance. You know, he didn't look like he was going to clear that one. Interesting that he has come on, you know, had an extensive indoor season over in Europe, though. I think a lot of the high jumpers, sometimes they do need to actually compete. They're working really, really hard. And it's such a technical event, the high jump. So to to be able to compete in, you know, successive weekends is really, really important.
Jabilko going for the extra rhythmical clap there, not just the slow hand clap. He wants them at it full throttle. Here he goes. 2:28 second attempt for the European champion. And again, no one's apart from Castro Rivera, who would be setting a PB, nobody else who's cleared this before has actually looked that close.
No, this is normally run-of-the-mill for a lot of these athletes. They've all got season's bests, you know, in advance of 2:28. So, yeah, this just seems to be the one that's going to decide those finish positions.
So at the moment, Jabilko, as he's knocked that off with his the middle part of his back, hasn't he, as he's gone over that one. So he will come back for a third attempt. So at the moment, no one clear at 2:28. The leaders at the moment on countback, three-way tie between Castro of Puerto Rico, Wang and Jabilko. Tobe, this man, is currently in 5th position overall, but this will put him in the lead if he can clear 2:28 at the second attempt. Winner in Karlsruhe, form on German soil earlier on in the month. What's he got here in Dusseldorf? There we go. Doesn't let us down this time. What's the panic about, says Noto.
He liked that, didn't he? And the crowd liked that. At least it shows, you know, 2:28, you know, it can be done. So, yeah, hopefully he's got that off his back now and he can just go and make some adjustments. Of course, he has jumped in advance of that on every single competition that he's done so far this year. Actually entered the competition quite early at 2:20. I think sometimes when you do a kind of, you know, a height that's really within you, sometimes it does just make you a little bit shaky when you start knocking those bars off, and maybe you start trying a little bit harder. But, you know, he's clear at 2:28, the first one of the evening to do that.
Crunch time for Puerto Rico's Luis Castro Rivera. Has to clear this to stay in the comp. Oh, it's close again. He's fractions away from a new lifetime best, is Luis Castro Rivera. He's out though at 2:28, but his clearance of 2:25 has him in a share of second place currently behind Tobe. He's got the gear, he's got the moves. It nearly went wrong. He nearly fell off the bed.
He's entertained us all evening, hasn't he? He's been great. I think his facial expressions just show us that he's really enjoying his sport. He loves being here. He's an entertainer. High jumpers they're so charismatic, you know. You've got to have that sort of personality. And again, yeah, he did. He was very, very fortunate there.
Always check how close you are to the edge of the bed before doing reverse somersaults. That would be my motto in life, amongst others. So Rivera, he's certainly got the shoulders. Maybe that's what he's pointing to. That's something he's got to improve. He's not just showing off his muscle, I don't think. That's a technical aspect as he attempts 2:28 as well. The 5-time champion of Mexico. Had to take the silver this year with a clearance of 2:26. This is 2:28. Oh, he got a lot of height, didn't he? He got a lot of spring, but again, not so much propulsion across the bar. Yeah,
he's definitely got springs in those legs. I was watching the live footage there, and yeah, he definitely had the height, but just didn't travel across the bar.
You see it again here. He gets very, very high, doesn't he? And then it just sort of died on him, didn't he? Came down on it. So it looked higher from the other angle, actually, rather than that. It didn't look that high second time round, in fact.
That was definitely his best clearance, best attempt at clearing it, definitely.
So Wang, after 3 successive clearances through to 2:25, all of a sudden now he has got a crucial attempt coming up here at 2:28 meters to stay in the competition. Well, they've pulled it out of the fire. His previous two were not close. That one didn't graze it.
Yeah, very like Tobe. I think as the heights are increasing now, they're progressing. He looks, you know, he looks like he's going to maybe even make the next height. That was a good clearance.
Well, our numbers in Asia, our viewing numbers, when they get wind of Tobe and Wang having a bit of an Asian battle here between Japan and China. This man, though, wants something to say about that for sure. Jabilko to stay alive. Only 2 are clear so far at this height. And it stays at 2. It's not the European Champions Day here. He exits with a clearance of 2:25 meters, which puts him in a share for third place with Castro. So it is Japan against China for the win, Wang against Tobe. So we see Jabilko, and again, he'll know that's not close. Frustrating for the man from Leverkusen.
He really attacked that, didn't he? He seemed to go in with a lot more speed, a lot more propulsion, but yeah, unfortunately, couldn't clear it here this evening.
So the bar will move up to 2 meters and 31 now, which would equal not only the season's best, but also the lifetime best indoors of that man, Wang, which is what he produced in Karlsruhe. So these two are definitely taking a liking to German high jump competitions on this IAAF World Indoor Tour. The jump from Tobey, by the way, in Karlsruhe of 2:35 put him third on the all-time Asian list. The problem he's got on the top of that list is Mutaz Bashi with 2 meters 41.
Significant, isn't it?
Yeah.
2:41.
So for Tobey to get close to that, he's going to have to improve a long way. But Tobey at the moment, on countback, has the lead from Wang. Wang has 2:28 as well, and Castro Rivera 2:25 out of the competition. Of course, what this isn't doing is helping the men's 60 meters hurdlers who are waiting and waiting for their final, which has got to be, it's going to be some express clearing up from the superb team here in the arena to get the high jump bed out, swung round and out of the way quickly, and the hurdles laid out for that men's 60 meter hurdles final, which is our concluding track event. A reminder who's in that, by the way. The heats felt like they were last month. They were that long ago. Balnavite, Traber, Pozzi, Ortega, Crittenden, Mallet, Trajkovic, Constantino will be the lineup for that final. Jarrett Eaton disqualified, remember, after a full start. Ortega was initially shown a red card, then was reinstated and took his place in the final. So 2 high jumpers left. Still over a minute on the jump clock for Wang, just out the corner of the shot. There he is. And again, they are centre arena, these two. This is a great spectacle for the high jump. We've often seen some of the field events move to some great locations, haven't we? Zurich Central Station and out into the street and things, but it's great to have the focus of the arena here. Wang 2:31. Yes, Wang is finding his form all of a sudden. At 2:28, it looked like it wasn't going to be his night, but Wang has equalled his lifetime best with a first-time clearance.
And the first-time clearance, like you said, Chris, he's just really come into his own now in this competition. Equalled that height that he did in Karlsruhe earlier this month, and just saw Tobey there in the background, you know, give him a little bit of a celebratory clap. So, yeah, game on.
Yeah, nice to see, and Jabilko in the background as well, giving him a bit of a clap too. So good to see. As we've mentioned in the pole vault, that's the one event that does get a lot of media, I guess, for the camaraderie between competitors. It's good to see these two as well enjoying each other's competition here. So Naoto Tobey, the title winner. Can he follow Wang over? Wang certainly laid a marker down there with that first-time clearance. Not to be for Tobey, who goes cartwheeling off the bed on the far side. So advantage Wang so far, who can put his, what looks like some sort of ski jacket on. It's not that cold here in Dusseldorf.
It's actually pretty warm in the arena. Yeah, just going back to that jump there by Tobey, it was just a little bit flat over the bar, really. He just, you know, came in with his real nice rhythmical style, but yeah, just a little bit flat, peaked a little bit too early there.
Student at the University of Sugupa is Tobey. Actually has a long jump personal best of 7 meters 52, going back to 2012. So I mean, that's more than useful, isn't it?
Not bad at all.
Not bad for someone who doesn't do it. I'm just thinking how he would look springing down the long jump runway, because he certainly looks like he's more built for the high jump than the long jump. Put it that way. Although those long limbs, I'm sure, can propel you along the sand as well. Taking a bit of advice here from Donald Thomas. Tobey's thanks, Donald. Cheers. Cheers, Donald.
He's taking it in anyway. I don't know if he's just being polite or not.
Donald's saying, just what you need to do is clear that bar. And Tobey's going, yeah, I've got it. I've got that, mate. So Wang certainly looks like he's off skiing after this anyway, but he's the coat is off. So here we go with the tactics, because Tobey has passed at 2:31. He's passed his second attempt. The bar is going up to 2:34. Because, of course, Tobey knows if he wants to go past Wang, he's got to clear the next height. So rather than waste his attempts at 2:31, waste his energy, he's going to go up to 2:34. So Wang has got the jacket off all of a sudden. And don't forget now, he's only got 2 attempts, Tobey, having already had 1 failure at 2:31. This is a bit of a game of poker here between Tobey and Wang.
It is. Tobey's had 8 attempts so far to Wang's 7, so, you know, maybe just saving his legs a little bit. He knows he's got that height in him. He's done it previously. This will be a new outright PB by 3 centimetres for Wang, so this is a bar that he will have attempted before, but never cleared it.
So, Wang of China, 6th at the World Indoor Championships, the Asian Games champion from last year, a former World University Games bronze medalist as well. 6 times the national champion of China. The bar's up at 2:34, and we're now into lifetime best territory for Wang if he can clear this. He is the current leader. No?
He just zips over, doesn't he? He's got so much spring. He almost zips over, zips off the bed, and yeah, he's got 2 more attempts.
So 2 more to come for Wang. Tobey only has 2 attempts at this. Don't forget you can only have 3 successive failures or you're out of the competition. So when you fail at one height, for example, at first attempt, and then you pass, that failure is carried forward effectively to the next height. So Tobey has 2. And if both of them fail, then Wang is the winner. But Tobey already has the title in the bag. But it'll be a nice little psychological marker for Wang, I'm sure. And these two, they're going to have quite a rivalry as we turn in terms of the ages. Wang 27, Tobey 26. So both, I guess, at similar levels of their career. Tobey notably less achievements on a global stage so far, but certainly an up-and-coming star. And this is 2:34 for Tobey, 1 centimetre shy of what he produced in Karlsruhe to stun that crowd. Dusseldorf is behind him, that is for sure. He's at it again, this lad. These German bounces down the tracks of celebration are becoming very familiar from Naoto Tobey. The bow, the smile, the high five, a man banging form.
Yeah, the bet paid off, didn't it? 2:34, his second best clearance ever, just 1 centimetre behind his personal best. He certainly does like these German events, and the German crowd are loving this.
So we're coming up to the best part of 3 hours live coverage already here from Dusseldorf on the IAAF World Indoor Tour as it comes to its conclusion for 2019. We've already crowned 4 of the champions earlier on today. 2 of them, don't forget, Echeverria and Samuel, were crowned in the previous meeting, or finalised in the previous meeting in Birmingham. The rest of the prizes will be given out at the conclusion of this evening's meeting. One of them will be going this man's way, Naoto Tobey, and we still have the 60-metre hurdles final to come. And we're already running about 35 minutes behind schedule. So this is bonus entertainment for you, watching wherever you are, across Europe, maybe further afield around the world, live by the IAAF YouTube channel with myself, Chris Temple, and the World and European 800-metre medalist, Jenny Meadows. This is Wang then, second attempt at 2:34. Pressure back on him now all of a sudden. And he's answered it. A lifetime best indoors for Wang of China. 2 metres and 34. Whatever you can do, Tobey, I can do too.
What a competition that we're having. After a real lacklustre start of the competition with everyone struggling to get over that 2:28 bar, we've now got 2 men clear at 2:34. And just great scenes here. You know, a personal best by 3 centimetres. These guys were both over 2:31 and 2:35 respectively in Karlsruhe, and now 2 of these guys over 2:34. The bar will now be raised to 2:36, which, if someone clears it, would be a new world lead.
Well, this is a fascinating contest for sure in the men's high jump here, and I guess fitting in a way. We mentioned the fact that this has got the centre of the arena. This has got everybody looking at it. All of a sudden now, this is, as they show the replay actually on the screen of the 2 athletes embracing here as well. This has got the whole arena captivated, and I think it would have done whatever else was going on around the arena.
Definitely. The men's 1500 metres promised so much. It delivered. The men's high jump, it's been scheduled right at the end of the competition because we thought we would have something like this, and we've just got the bonus of waiting for the men's 60-metre hurdles, and we're really thinking that one's going to be a cracker and come down to the wire as well.
So, Wang, here we go. 2:34, jumping order means that he has the first attempt at 2:36, with Tobey clear first time. Wang then, his outdoor personal best, by the way, is 2:33, so that is a new outright personal best for Wang, indoors or out with 2:34. Surely not anymore. Not this time.
No, he knocked it off with his arm on his way up, really, and I'm just wondering whether he's ever attempted 2:36, having a personal best of, you know, 2:33 outdoors. I'm pretty sure he's probably, you know, tried to attempt 2:35, but sometimes when you're actually attempting a bar for the first time, it can be a little bit overwhelming. He didn't really get close to it on that attempt. really, really hard to contain your emotions after you've had such a significant increase in a personal best. But, you know, 2:34, and he's got a couple more attempts at the 2:36 bar as well.
I'm just scrolling back through, Jen, but as far as I can see, certainly going back the last 3 years or so when Wang has achieved most of the things he's achieved, he hasn't ever attempted 2 meters 36. So this is certainly new territory. This is probably his first ever attempt at 2 meters 36. Even Rojas is loving the high jump.
I've been watching her. She's got her flowers there. She's sat in the front row, and she's just really enjoying this competition.
Tobey then, first attempt for him at 2:36. Again, that's enough. There's enough there, isn't there, to give him a bit of encouragement.
That was better than Wang's attempt. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's already done 2:35 just a couple of weeks ago. I wouldn't put it past one of these guys at least getting this 2:36, and I'm not sure whether the 60-metre hurdlers are appreciating this right now. They're still not sure what time they're going to be competing at, but you know, the crowd are enjoying it.
Well, I guess one man who probably, in terms of recovery, having not raced so often, Andrew Posey might be enjoying a bit more recovery between races, I suppose. But just to bring you up to date on Tobey, by the way, the man we're looking at there, he actually attempted 2:36 in Birmingham at the weekend in the 5th event of the IAAF World Indoor Tour, where he failed at the 2nd attempt. You may remember in Karlsruhe, Jim, when we were sat alongside each other, he actually had 3 goes at 2:37 as well. So he has attempted these heights before. Have a chat with Donald there. His new
whatever he's been saying, he's been giving him some pretty good advice.
We were making light of Donald Thomas's experience and whatever he was passing on. I thought it was a polite nod from Tobey to say, yeah, thanks very much, Donald. You're an experienced athlete, you're a world champion. I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm just going to carry on with whatever I've planned here. So then, back we go to Wang, having his first stab at 2 meters and 36. Attempt number 2. He's in 2nd place. A Chinese record already. Well, it was all looking so good, and then at the last moment he took a right instead of an up.
It's very much similar to the pole vaulters, you know, when sometimes you bail, you just don't quite feel right. Once you know that, you know, the jump doesn't feel right, you've just got to sometimes just abort it. You could actually end up injuring yourself, so better that he did that and save his energy for his last attempt.
So, one more to go for Wang, 2:36, Tobey, 2:36 as well. A hush around the arena. Of course, the other thing is that this is an intense competition in terms of the turnaround between jumps here, because these two are really bouncing from one to the next, aren't they? There's still a minute and a half left on the jump clock for Tobey, but you can see him on the left of the shot there. And as we saw in Karlsruhe, he doesn't mess around with wasting time. He cracks on.
What he does, he wasn't using the clock, was he? He was going sometimes with a whole minute left to go, and it looks like he's very much doing the same here. He's still got about 70 seconds. But he looks like he's going to go in the next 5 or 10 seconds. Here he does. He does indeed.
2nd attempt, 2:36, Tobey. Again, about as much encouragement as the first one. A little bit there. So, he actually needed 3. Let's take it right back to get over 2:20 at the start of the competition, Tobey.
Unbelievable that we've actually got to the situation of 2 guys still in at 2:36. And I think he is getting a little bit tired now. He just had a little bit of a moment on the bed to regather himself. And he's just walking back now, a few thoughts going through his head, I'm sure.
A bit like Sidorova earlier on in the pole vault, who will be one of the next to be crowned as part of the presentations here. When she was in the competition, oh, he's Rojas again. She's absolutely loving life. She would do. She's the IAAF World Indoor Tour title holder. She's the world champion indoors and out. It's all happening for her.
And it's great for those fans who get to sit near her. They probably can't believe that they're sharing this event and the evening with Rojas.
Is it they can't see? She's dancing in front of them, they can't see. So here we go with Wang then. 2:36. He pulled it out at 2:28 where he needed to. 3rd attempt. He's already got a new Chinese indoor record. The Chinese outdoor record, by the way, is at 2:39. That's been set for about 30 years or so. But at the moment, the main focus is 2:36. Volume ramping up here in Dusseldorf. Not to be for Wang, but he's certainly delighted the crowd this evening. 2:34, lifetime best, national indoor record for Wang of China, and he takes 2nd place. It takes some performance to beat a height like that, and credit to Tobey, he's done it again.
Yeah, Wang walking away with a personal best, a national record, 2:34, and doesn't win the competition. That actually just shows the calibre of jumping that we've got here this evening.
Certainly does. So Wang, who'd produced, we say, there's 3 comps on this little European tour, 2:30, 2:31 and 2:27. It's a noticeable improvement for him. So, is there any more left in the legs of Tobey? He's had a tough little stretch here in Europe. Lots of competitions. He's been performing very well indeed. 3rd attempt, 2 meters and 36 for another new Japanese record, personal best, and to confirm himself as the winner here. He's already the winner. He's already won the tour. This would be a cherry on the top for Tobey. Another fantastic competition. If you haven't got the name in your notebook already, Naoto Tobey. The Olympics next year are in his homeland of Japan. An exciting medal prospect for sure. 2:34 the winning height. Our overall IAAF World Indoor Tour winner, Naoto Tobey of Japan. But once again, a fantastic high jump competition.
Yeah, it really treated us all to it, and you can see that all the other high jumpers are congratulating them. These two just really brought it here this evening, and I think having that rivalry, you know, 2 people to really push each other on, help them get those, you know, greater heights towards the end of the competition. An absolute carnage going on in the arena now. Honestly, the hurdles are out, the high jump bed is getting packed away. I can see the 60-meter hurdlers all coming with their rucksacks on, ready to have their event presentation, and yeah, this meeting is just going to come alight again with this next event coming up, the men's 60-meter hurdles, to finish the competition here this evening. Well,
we mentioned that as we see a replay of Tobey's final attempt here, and I think all 3 were probably comparably similar, weren't they, in terms of how close he got, really close-ish, but not close enough. And as you say, Jen, in the background here, it's like the worker bees are certainly going into overdrive here. Not only have they got to clear up the high jump, but also get the hurdles out. Men's 60-meter hurdles final on the way very shortly indeed. Our final event of this, the 4th edition of the IAAF World Indoor Tour, which has taken in 6 meetings. We started in Karlsruhe, we went to Torun, we went to Madrid, amongst other places, Birmingham, Boston, of course. I say we started in Karlsruhe, I've said that a couple of times. We started the European leg in Karlsruhe. Boston, of course, in the USA was the opening leg. And we conclude here in Dusseldorf. You can just get a flavour just off to the right there as we confirm the high jump results and that national record for Wang of China indoors. Castro Rivero as well with 2 meters and 25 performed well. But it's all going on in the centre of the arena as the hurdles come out, get moved to the right height. We are set. The athletes have had a long hold in the call room. Give us an idea what happens here, because I'm sure you've been in this situation before where you're expecting to start at a certain time in the arena, which means it doesn't happen. What are you doing? How much information are they giving you?
Yeah, I've been in this situation many times, sometimes because of false starts, maybe outdoors because of weather. You know, you've just really got to just think to yourself, well, everybody's in the same position. It's not just me. It can be really frustrating when you've got a certain structure to your warm-up. You know, you like to do things in a certain order. You'll know how long you're going to jog for, stretch for, you know, do your strides for. Especially the technical event as a 60-meter hurdles, they'll have to obviously clear some barriers. But yeah, we're just looking now at the final scores of the men's high jump.
So easy for Tobey in terms of that scoring card there. The 3 wins that he picked up, giving him the maximum 30 points. He takes the $20,000 and the wild card to Nanjing for next year's World Indoors. So after that long hold and the uncertainty and the restaging, if you like, after I mean, this event was supposed to be taking place at just after 8 o'clock, I think, earlier on, maybe even earlier than that. It was supposed to take place at 7:38 was the official time. So here we are, an hour and 40 minutes later for these athletes due to the protests and things that were going on about disqualifications. Most of the crowd have stayed, 1 or 2 empty seats of people who've had to go and get the last train or something. We've got somewhere to be, work tomorrow morning, but most of the crowd here have stayed. We're going to be crowning, don't forget, the champions as well over the overall tour titles. 9 of the 11 being decided or being crowned here in Dusseldorf this evening. And it all comes down to the best part of 7.5, 7.75 seconds for our closing action of the evening. 8 men over the 60-meter barriers. Ortega, some may say a bit fortunate to be in there, of course, having been disqualified. Whatever he said to the officials, it worked. Before we get to that, though, we have got some of the presentations, as the 60 hurdlers are quite rightly giving a bit of time to warm up and get things sorted, get their blocks set, have a couple of practices over the barriers. Tobey didn't even get time to go and mop his brow. He's back out. Tefera. There's a bit of talk about Tefera, of course, post-race on Saturday in Birmingham, that he didn't really seem to celebrate that world record. I think there's one or two schools of thought that he actually didn't know how, because it didn't come up on the infield scoreboard. People say, well, how can you look so disappointed to run like that? Well, actually, did he know? That's the question.
I don't think he did know until he was on the back straight. He was kind of doing, you know, your normally victory lap, and then I think someone must have had a bit of a word in his ear. You saw a grin on his face, and he must have just then been given the information. And again, it's just he had the fortunate position of not having that monkey on his back, having to go for the world record.
So let's talk you through these champions being crowned. Angelika Sidorova of Russia, but an authorised neutral athlete, of course, winning the pole vault comfortably in the end. Stefanidi, her closest challenger, wasn't at the races today. And it was Sidorova with the overall title. And again, she'll be a real player for the European indoors when they come around in Glasgow at the start of March. The winning height in the end for Sidorova was 4 meters and 77. She won from Kyria Kapulu. So our next to be crowned is Nathan Strother of the USA, who in a fascinating head-to-head with Pavel Maslak in the 400 meters. It all came down to the home stretch. And Strother, well, you've got to say, for someone of his relative inexperience at 23, his race management was superb.
Yeah, it was. He really executed that race incredibly well. He knows what his strength is, and it's the last half of the race. And what a great race it was, that last 50 metres with himself and Maslak coming down the home straight.
Next is the women's 800 metres, which again was set up to be a battle really between Habitam Alamu of Ethiopia and potentially Shalana Osken-Clark of Great Britain. Well, in the end, it was Alamu who, a front-running tactics as she took over early in the race. 2 minutes, .70, the winning time for Alamu, who takes the 10 points and the overall title ahead of Osken-Clark. So 3 of our winners there of the overall series. Here is Samuel Tefera, who, don't forget, was beaten this evening. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, a new world under-20 record time, 3:36.02. But Tefera, a world record and a world indoor tour title in the space of a few days. Not a bad couple of days' work. No,
not been a bad week. I've had worse.
I've had a lot worse, that is for sure. I certainly haven't had anything anywhere near as good a week as Tefera. That is sure, for sure. And again now, can he reproduce outside? He's unbeaten indoors until today, don't forget. Lost his unbeaten record in his career today. Can he transfer it outdoors? Because he only finished 5th at the World Under-20s last year. And here's the man that we've just seen. Naoto Tobei, Japan. 2:34, just below his previous best that he produced across in Karlsruhe. But the crowd appreciating the contest that he and Wang served up today. And Tobei, who, if you'd have been having a bet at the start of the indoor tour as to who would take the title, there'd been probably a couple of others who would have been ahead of him.
It would have been. He's just been dominant all indoor season. It's actually quite staggering to think he only came in with a personal best of 2:26. And he's done 2:29, he's done his 2:34, he's done his 2:35. And Rojas just wants to join in again, you know.
She's everywhere. So we're joined on the podium by Eva Svoboda in the blue top there, who takes the women's 60 metres, but lost to Talu, who set a new personal best and world lead this evening. Rojas in the triple jump. Didn't have it all her own way this evening, but came through late with a late jump to take the lead. And Jarrett Eaton, who, mixed emotions for him, he's on the podium in the arena, and right behind him, the men's 60-metre hurdlers have just walked off to be reintroduced to the crowd. And Eaton would have expected to be in one of the centre lanes for the final, and he's not even in the lineup. Just disqualified after a full start earlier on. Certainly you can't find, we talk about athletes connecting, don't we, personalities and making themselves accessible to their fans and just, I guess, revealing a bit, not revealing in terms of details of their life, but just revealing a bit about themselves. There's no doubting what Rojas is about, is there? That is for sure. She's somebody that people will love to watch.
Yeah, she's just so characteristic, isn't she? She, you know, just loves the event. She just loves the competition. And like I said, you know, she came out on that 5th round, and you know, it was a pressure jump, and she found the pressure. She did what it takes, and she's just really been enjoying the whole evening here ever since.
If it took any energy to win the women's triple jump, you wouldn't know it. She's still got plenty as Yulimar Rojas. Still lots more to come from her. 23 years of age, world champion indoors and out. So the fans have stayed right to the end. Jarrett Eaton scrawling a few autographs. If you want to learn more about athletes, by the way, Jarrett Eaton's website's well worth having a look at as well. He's got lots of charitable schemes on there. He's got a scheme at the moment with other people bringing extra pairs of spikes to help out underprivileged school children in America. He's a great example of how to do it. So this is a look back at the 60-metre hurdles heats earlier on. Jarrett Eaton there, third from the left, disqualified, that slight false start, got the red card. It was just under the allowed reaction time, and Eaton, his night never got going. This is the second of those heats. Sorry, this is the rerun, I should say, rather, of Jarrett Eaton absent. As we see Crittenden coming through, and also Traber of Germany, and Andrew Pozzi, the world indoor champion, finishing strongly for second. This was heat 2, a full start from Ortega in lane 3. Initially was shown the red card by the officials, and the top 2 on the rankings were all of a sudden out. But Ortega said something, and he was back in from lane 3. A sedate start, but got going in the second half of the race to take his position in the final, chased home by the likes of Aaron Mallet and Milan Trajkovic. To put their position in the men's 60-metre hurdles final coming up, our final event. So even though Eaton's not in this final, it is still his title. 10 points for a win, remember, means that he cannot be caught at the top of the standings. So the barriers are set, the stage is set. Here come the athletes. Germany representing in lane 1, Erik Baulneveit, their national silver medalist. We go to lane 8 next, and Gabriel Constantino, the South American record holder, indoors and out over the sprint hurdles. He goes to lane 8 as we merge towards the big guns in the middle. Gregor Traber, another of the German athletes. Germany in lanes 1 and 2 here, fresh from winning the national title in Germany here on the weekend. Milan Trajkovic for Cyprus. He is drawn in lane 7. Second in Turin, second in Madrid, third in Birmingham. The world and European indoor champion Andrew Pozzi, a surprise name in the lineup, back from injury, trying to prove himself to earn his place on the Great Britain team to defend his title in Glasgow on home soil. Aaron Mallet of the USA, best of 7:56 set this year. Aaron Mallet drawn in lane 6. Here he is then, a bit of drama earlier on, but he's got his place in the final. Giving up, unfortunately, his World Indoor Tour title from 2 years ago. He won this 2 years ago as well. Ortega, the Olympic silver medalist, in lane 4. And finally, Freddie Crittenden. He is loving life here this evening. Freddie Crittenden, the US athlete, 7:53, his personal best, set in Birmingham at the weekend when he finished second. He goes in lane 5. So, unorthodox preparation. Who are we looking at here, Jet? Can Pozzi possibly reproduce with coming back from such a long layoff?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I don't think he showed too much in the heats. Sat in his blocks a little bit and wasn't, quite as fast as the other guys over the first few barriers. But he was really coming through towards the end. I think Ortega, Crittenden, Mallet, those are the guys we should be watching.
The final event of the 2019 IAAF World Indoor Tour is the men's 60 metres hurdles final. From the inside, Baulneveit, Traber, Pozzi, Ortega, Crittenden, Mallet, Trajkovic, Constantino. Oh, and more drama. More drama. Full start in heat 1. Full start in heat 2. Full start in the final.
We should have known the script by this point, shouldn't we? There are tense moments, You've got 7.5 seconds to get over 5 barriers.
It's a bit of movement. Was it Trajkovic in 7? I think was wobbling a little bit, but again, it looks a relatively even break. Jenny, any views?
I was looking at lane 5. I was looking at Crittenden. I'm not sure. It wasn't obvious, but yeah, I think lane 5.
Certainly a little bit of a twitch from both 5 and 7, I think. Crittenden in 5, Trajkovic in 7. Here comes the dreaded cards. Is that a yellow one? Yellow. Warning for Crittenden, so he stays in. The last thing we need to... The meters are going to run out on the lights if we have any more delays. That is for sure. So Crittenden stays alive. And we have a full complement of 8 for the second attempt of the men's 60-metre hurdles final. Does that affect Crittenden now going into the second start? Does it hand an advantage to Ortega alongside him? Still $3,000, by the way, for the winner on the night, even though Eaton's title is out of reach. Away this time they go. Crittenden in 5. Trajkovic going well on the outside. Pozzi started well as well, but now Ortega starting to come through. Ortega and Trajkovic! And it might have been Trajkovic on the near side with the dip. 7.52 the winning time. Always hard to tell when the athletes are quite far apart in the lanes, but Milan Trajkovic possibly unthought of really in terms of the major players in this race. Had he come through to nick it, or did Ortega hang on?
It was close, wasn't it? Like you say, you know, we're looking at lane 4 versus lane 7. Trajkovic was definitely coming through towards the end. Looking at Ortega, I think he thought he took it. So obviously the athletes sometimes themselves know, they can tell who's actually taking it. And yeah, he's been given the win.
Given the same time, Ortega 7.52 and Trajkovic 7.52. Well, Pozzi actually got a pretty good start there. This is where Ortega starts to come through. Keep an eye on Trajkovic on this near side, because here you're thinking he's got it right on the lean. I mean, that is close, isn't it? I think the camera angle probably affecting my mind in terms of Trajkovic taking it. But well executed in the end, and Ortega takes the win.
Yeah, and they've done so well, you know, like you say, to be delayed by almost 2 hours, to be able to still come out and run 7.52 seconds. And actually it was a season's best for Trajkovic and only 1/100th of a second away from his personal best. So it's certainly delivered. 7.52 seconds, Ortega taking the win.
Well, that is how close it was there. I mean, that is an inch on the chest, isn't it? From Ortega nearest the camera and the white vest and the reverse angle that we were looking at when they came through the first time. So very, very close indeed. Good performance from Milan Trajkovic. And again, heading to the European indoors, I think that will give him a bit of confidence as well. But it is Ortega who takes the win despite the earlier drama. And the 10 points go his way. And the prize money on the evening as well. Andrew Pozzi, by the way, 7.67, as we just confirmed the full result for you. So an improvement on his performance in the heat. Andrew Pozzi, and Great Britain selectors waiting to see if he's declaring his fitness. That would be certainly a step in the right direction for him as he attempts to defend that title in Glasgow. And for completeness, let's just show you how the men's 60-metre hurdles overall tour standings end up. Those 10 points for Ortega just narrow the gap to Eaton at the top, but he's already received his prize. Disappointing night personally for Eaton, but he is the overall tour title winner. So there he is, Orlando Ortega, celebrating his victory. So let's take you right back to the start of the evening, shall we? Christina Schwanitz giving the home fans something to shout about with our first event of this evening. 1914, her winning put. In the women's pole vault, well, it was Stefanidi against Sidorova for the overall title. It was a meeting record of 4.77 as Sidorova took the overall tour title win and the victory here in Dusseldorf this evening too. In the triple jump, well, Yulimar Rojas had 3 successive fouls, but she produced when she needed to. 14 metres and 46, her winning jump, as the world champion indoors and out landed the spoils in the triple. And she loved it as well. The 60 metres women, well, it was the unbeaten Eva Svoboda who was upstaged by Marie-José Tarlou, a world lead of 7.02, a lifetime best indoors as well. And Tarlou producing when it mattered. Svoboda taking the overall title, but Tarlou in scintillating form this evening. As you can see what it meant to her as well, taking 300ths off her previous best. The men's 400 metres, well, it was these two shooting it out. Strother and Maslach for the title, and Nathan Strother, the 23-year-old from the USA, came through to take it from the experienced Maslach. Strother, very consistent performances across the tour. Men's high jump, an all-Asian battle, but it went the way of Naoto Tobe, again with a meeting record of 2 metres and 34, producing in Germany once again after his efforts in Karlsruhe. He's certainly become a name to be watching out for, that's for sure. Just edging out Wang of China, who set a new Chinese indoor record and lifetime best in finishing in 2nd place. Women's 800 metres, well, Alemu of Ethiopia, the national record holder, was the favourite. Oscan Clark, in the end, had no answers for Great Britain. It was Alemu just outside the 2-minute mark who came through to take the overall title in the women's 800 metres. The men's 1500 metres was what they were all talking about, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen got the better of the new world indoor record holder Samuel Tefera coming up to the line. A world under-20 record for Ingebrigtsen, 3:36.02, a PB2 for his brother Philip. And the men's 60-metre hurdles, our final event of the evening. After plenty of drama in the heats and with full starts, it went the way of Orlando Ortega, who took it same time as Trajkovic, but right on the lean. It went to Orlando Ortega. That was our final event then, after a protracted delay for the men's 60-metre hurdle, as Ortega producing when it mattered. Takes the flowers, takes the spoils, and he will be a medal force at the European Indoor Championships in Glasgow at the start of March. So that is how it looks here in the hall in Dusseldorf. Jen, we've got a little bit of time very quickly just to wrap up the tour. Some fantastic performances, and the matchups we were looking forward to didn't let us down. Yeah.
The high jump, I thought it was such a great battle tonight between Toby and Wang. I've really got into the men's high jump during this tour, and that disappointment this evening, that's probably my highlight of the whole evening.
Tefera and Ingebrigtsen a highlight too, but from the whole of the team associated with the IAAF World Indoor Tour, from all of us here in Dusseldorf, hope you've enjoyed the coverage. From myself, Chris Temple, and Jenny Meadows, thanks for being with us. We bid you good night.